Scott Mellor, we're back.
What's going on?
Dude.
It's been a while since I've had a mic in front of my mouth.
I know.
It feels strange.
This is the only way I get to have a conversation with you.
I only speak to the people immediately around me.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's ridiculous? Sound like the fucking craziest person, but I constantly listen to Club Good reruns.
Really?
It's my comfort.
I haven't listened back. I miss it. I definitely miss it.
The routine of having a long-form conversation with someone, like once a week, and committing to it, like even I do it with different people, but it's like such a time where like it's like a organic flow state because you get the eye contact, like your phone doesn't matter, none of the bullshit matters, you just get to actually like be in it. And I find that you kind of hit something, it's like, it's like a frequency thing. You get like half an hour in and you're just like, I'm in this.
Yeah.
You know? It's
and
like,
that was something that I fully recognized when we were doing it. And I really got like addicted to that.
Yeah.
Because it was just one of those things where it's like, you don't have those, I've said it so many times before, where you don't have those long form conversations with someone without interruption.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I get there's no time to do that.
Yeah. Dude, the only person who does it is my mum. You know, she'll come around just to like, because she does my bookkeeping and like has more of a role in the business as we grow. And like, she came around the other day, I'm like, oh, check out this new flooring that we've just put down, these carpet tiles. And like 4 hours later, we're just like sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground, just talking about all sorts of things. It's like, this is nice.
Yeah, sweet.
I like this, yeah.
It's good, man. Getting to have like proper, legitimate conversations with your parents is crazy.
Dude, and the older you get, the more valuable the conversations are.
Yeah.
Like, I got a whole sort of insight into what life was like in my very early years the other day. And you don't realize until like a week later, you're like unpacking these little bits of information. You're like, well, if this, then that, and that explains why this and this and this happened. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's why I am the way I am in a particular way. And it's, yeah, all things that, like when I was a bit younger, I was like, I'm who I am now. Who cares about that? And then now that I'm looking at starting my own family, you're starting to go like, oh, well, this is a mindset that I'm in this experience. Where were my parents at in that experience?
Yeah, realizing them as human beings, like that had thoughts the same as you know, like I think about the fact that I don't have kids, but like my parents obviously had kids by my age.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you had no idea what the fuck you were doing.
Dude,
you're just trying to make it, you just made it work the best you could. And like, they did a pretty decent job.
How old were you when they were your age?
I don't know. I reckon I probably would have been 10.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So they were in it. By the time they were your age, they were
kids.
Parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were like seasoned vets by that point. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Like, you also, like, I feel like conversations with parents happen strangely as you grow up. Like, they say that you can't live with your parents in your 20s and you can't really get along with them. But then in your 30s, you kind of start to understand them. And then you get to know them as actual people.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, they're like a point of authority for you when you're a kid. And you know, there's like loving and stuff like that. But I think overall, it's like an authority thing. They're stopping you from doing shit that will kill you.
Yeah.
And then you get to an age where you're like, oh, I know everything now. I don't need that authority. So every conversation that you have with them, even if it's like just a rudimentary conversation, there's this feeling of like, yes, I know. Like, let me go. Let me go. Yeah, there's just tension there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to be told what to do. Like, I'm kind of fully formed. And then when you've been away from that for a while and you kind of come back, like, I had a really, really good relationship with my dad when I was an adult.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a great relationship with him when I was a kid. Not a bad one.
Yeah, just not like.
But it was just like I didn't really know him. He was around and he was a great dad, but I didn't know him as a person. But
what was his work schedule when you were younger?
He was really good. Like, he worked from home a lot of the time. He was he was a draftsman. Yeah, he was around.
Right.
But I don't think he knew. He did a great job, but I don't think he knew how to bridge that gap between being like the authority figure and being the friend.
Right.
Or being like judgmental of, I felt judgmental, like it was a judgmental relationship to some degree. And then when I was older, we would converse, and we'd have common interest in music and stuff, which he'd all planted those seeds in me when I was younger. But I got to, especially when he was sick, I got to just sit with him and talk about like experiences he had, like concerts that he went to, you know, how he felt when he broke up when he broke up with my mom. Like it was literally just the ability to have these conversations. Yeah, when I was 12.
Wow. Okay. And so he passed away 5 years ago?
7 years ago now.
7 years ago? Interesting. Wow. So that puts you just in like you're starting to get the hang of being an adult, and then you're like swallowing that really tough pill.
Yeah, it was a weird time for me, man. I think because there was just like a lot of weird shit going on in my life. Like I'd had an opportunity around like, I think around 30, I'd played in bands, and then we were throwing parties. There was like, I was a graphic designer. I was just kind of like, everything was kind of working. And then I'd started playing around with electronic music, and just out of interest, because I missed making music, because I'd been DJing and stuff. I never took it seriously at all. And then I'd found some electronic music that I liked for the first time, like where I was like, oh, this is really good. Yeah. And
you're making this.
And then I was like, oh, I'll start playing around with some stuff, and I started making stuff.
And then you start making.
Yeah. And because like I don't know, I understand music, and I understand like I just kind of understood what I wanted to do, and it like popped off crazy, like immediately, and it was played at Coachella, and it was this really big thing. Dude, that just crazy. Yeah, it was really odd. Yeah, but it was cool, and I was like, well, I guess this is, you know, there was a whole lot going on. Like I was like being interviewed on major music publications. I was going for dinner with like executives in LA and stuff. It was pretty fucking crazy. It was just that SoundCloud boom era. Yeah. And then like I was already 30. So I was like, I don't know. I think I might have even been older. I think I was 31. I was like, this is cool, but like I've already got a design career.
Would have been cool like 10 years.
Oh, it would have been brilliant 10 years earlier.
Yeah. Then you can sort of do it for 10 years and go, sweet.
Yeah. And I felt like it, because the nightclubs stuff, like the parties that we put on and all of that, that was we were starting to wind that down. And I was like,
was that you winding it down, or was that it starting to change?
No, we decided to wind it down. Like me and you were talking off camera before about like, there's a million ways to make money. And it seems these days like no one seems to care about how you get money. The only respect or like adoration you get is if you're like a big hustler, or like you make tons of money.
And realistically, if you have the icons that come from it.
Yeah.
You got the watch
and the car and that sort of stuff, especially when it comes to like Instagram culture. And I think there's a big gap in people's thoughts on that, where they go, you need to be proud of what you do to some degree. And with that, we were proud of the fact that we'd made it into a business. We were proud that it had paid us like a lot of money at the time. Yeah. But it was like, I don't want to do this forever. And I'd said I think I was about 24 when we started, I'd said to my business partner at the time, I was like, if I'm still in here at 30, shoot me. Like this is because there was no success stories in that. So we had always talked about how we were going to wind it down, and then we had like multiple events going on every weekend. Yeah. And then a couple of the venues started closing because it was a tough time for nightclubs. So like our nights were like the only thing really keeping them keeping them open
before COVID, before the insurances shit.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what sort of tough that was, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, you got to remember, like everything just goes in cycles anyway.
Yeah.
So like the clubs were struggling, so they were selling, and then a new owner would come in with a new idea. Yeah. And we lost like our main venue, and we were like, that was for Canvas, and then we kind of relaunched it at another place, but it turned into that thing where it was, you were working 3 times harder for like maybe 3/5 of the money.
Yeah, okay.
And you're like, well, this was fine when it was easy, and I was still designing, was doing StreetX and all of that, and yeah, so we kind of saw an off ramp and just got off. Yeah. And Delby, my business partner, was a professional photographer, videographer, director.
Yeah.
And I was branding and design and stuff. So I'd always kept that going because I knew that it was just happenstance that we ended up in that industry, even though we were successful in it. But we didn't want to be promoters. So I'd kind of come out of that and was just like, nah.
Was Canvas the same time as Basement?
Yeah.
Right.
There was crossover.
Interesting. So obviously they weren't competition. They were just...
No, that was like young guy bass music.
Dude.
Canvas was just like a rap house party.
Right.
It was sick. It was just like... We started it when like The Weeknd and Drake and Kendrick came out, but early, Section 80 Kendrick and The Weeknd's first record and stuff. And we were like, oh, this is cool, so we'll just do a night. Because before that, it was all electronic music and shit. So we were like, oh, we could probably do this. We liked it. And then it turned out that everyone else they became the biggest. The foundation for that became they ended up being the most popular artists in the world. So it's like we just heard it early enough that we were the club that was doing that.
Were you onto like I got into The Weeknd, like House of Balloons, like that sort
from
of
Tumblr.
And I remember, dude, that's what it was Tumblr. And I remember being like, I don't understand how everyone doesn't love it. Am I weird because I like this music?
Yeah.
And then fast forward 15 years and it's like...
Well, there was an aesthetic. There was an aesthetic to the whole thing. Like it completely nailed that Tumblr aesthetic at the time. ASAP did as well. They did it really well, where it was like Tumblr was this amazing platform that it was just pure vibes. It was just a visual feed of vibes, and
it was an emotional experience every time.
Yes,
it was such a specific version of what social media is now, because it was it was purely an escape. And as much as you escape in social media now, it's different. You get distracted, where this was like you believed you were like having a time when you go on it, you know? And like, do you remember Jake Hollywood? He was like the original fucking Shock Mansion guy.
Yeah. They had a clothing label before Shock Mansion. Because I used to do design for like a bunch of motocross labels and stuff when I was younger. Because because Unit was massive.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people popped up being like, we're going to start the next Unit.
Yep.
And I had never ridden a dirt bike in my life, but like I was like the design guy. So people came to me, and then I ended up designing like a bunch of different labels, and some of them went really, really far. But they, one of the Aaron Lindsay that we had on the podcast that was in the Bali bombings.
Yeah.
When I'd met him and he first told me the Bali bombing story, I was doing design for his store. It was called LYG.
Okay.
Letting Yourself Go. And it was this crew of dudes they'd all been through the Bali thing, and they'd started this kind of collective.
Yeah.
And they ended up opening a store in Perth.
I think I say in Bali, it's like...
No, they
asking for trouble, dude.
they opened it in Perth, and then he told me that story there. But they would stock other things, like other brands that were kind of smaller brands, and one of them was, I can't remember what their brand was called, but it was Jake and his brother,
right? And
it was like a real kind of militant dirt bikey motocross
like
brand,
jet ski motocross,
Crusty Demons kind of thing. And then they pivoted that. They did pretty well with that, and I think they'd started to garner a bit of a following on social media, and they twisted that into Shock Mansion. And then
it's all brand.
Yeah,
like, it's just brand building. They're like, oh, we can do this. Okay, that's a great like apprenticeship. What's the thing? And I mean, obviously, Shock Mansion still exists now. And also just like a ridiculous fucking system of like reposting awesome content.
It was blog format, like, and that was a beautiful time, man. Like blogs, when you would go to a website to get information, like it kind of started with message boards. So when I was growing up playing in bands, there was like message boards, and one of the big ones was Crafter's one. He had he had a thing called Broken Glass Online, and it had forums. So everyone would just be on there talking about, like, there was one for graphic design, and I came up in that, and then there was like heaps of sketchy ones, and there was just ones that people would shit on each other. It was just social media, but it was confined on this one forum. And then it went to blogs, and then you had like all these different blogs. And like I was saying before with the music stuff, I came up through that. So there was blogs like Ear Milk, and there was one called it was Hypebeast's music one. I think it's called Hypebeast Music now, but it was called Hype Track at the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they would basically aggregate. They would just have writers, and they would be keeping an eye on all the blogs, all the little feeder blogs for these different types of music, and then they'd pick something and go, "Oh, that's cool," and they'd write about it.
Yeah, and that was sort of a like golden handshake.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was completely liberated, because you would just put stuff on SoundCloud. You didn't have to go through a label, a distributor, anything, and then suddenly it would be on these massive blogs. This was like just right at the start of Instagram,
right?
And then
we're talking like 2011, 2010.
2014, really.
Okay.
2014, 2015.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, to come back to that thing before, it was like, I was putting out music and it was going really well. And then I got the attention of all these labels and stuff. And then I signed to a label, signed a management deal, signed a booking agency deal, you know, like was doing shows all over the place. And then it was like, I could kind of see the trajectory of what people that were in my lane were doing. And I was like, that's going to be so much fucking work. Like, you know, touring and playing like Villa in every city in Australia on a Thursday night to students. And it's just like, you can play your shit, but they really want to hear. It was like this weird kind of like time. And I was like, I don't fucking know about this, but I felt like I was on this train with it a little bit.
Yep.
So then I tucked in and was like, I'm going to write this EP, which I signed a record deal for. And while I was writing that, Dad got sick, and then passed away just before the record. The record was coming out when he passed away, and it was like, so that coming along just kind of, it really was like a super big chop. It was just like an end of so much shit that had been happening in my life.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'd lost all motivation to really pursue music because I was really depressed because I was going through this horrible thing.
How did he feel about your music?
He was super supportive. Yeah, he always was. Like, I played music since I was like 12, you know, like in bands and stuff like that. So I was always trying to do something for some reason.
Yeah.
I still am now to some degree, you know, like, it's just like, it's definitely a part of me.
But you're like a creator in essence. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like even like you design stuff as a very obvious expression of that.
Yeah.
You know? But I think like, and dude, I've struggled with it, and now I kind of accept it. It's like, dude, I fucking write every day. I'm drawing stuff. I do design in my job. And also, like, the true art that I make is putting together deals.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I create comfort for customers. That's what I love it. I love communicating, you know? And it's like, I think when you have that and I think we're all creators to a certain extent. It's like a spectrum, right? But I think when you fully like understand that about yourself and you can accept that, that's when you go like, what is it that feels right? Because like for me, it feels right to know how to play piano. It's like, we'll put a piano around you and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, it's not surprising really that like, you're like, oh, I fuck with this style or genre of music. I'm going to start making it. You make it. You already fucked with it. You didn't want to be an electric music guy. Electric music chose you, and then you're like, okay, and then off to the races.
Well, I think the thing is, when it comes to like creative expression, there's a lot of ways to do it. Like, so design for me is, first of all, I premise this by like, I didn't grow up in a time where anywhere the word like being a creative was. I remember when that came around and everyone was like, oof, it's on the nose. Like, it's literally, I figured out how to do something very, very basically. People started giving me very small amount of money for it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I could maybe do this for a while until the band works out, you know, like, and then I just kind of found my way to where I am now, which makes sense because I fell in love with it and I've found it a way to express myself creatively.
Yeah.
But when you're doing like, I find this with music, I find it with artist friends of mine that I've spoken to, you will enjoy something or something will speak to you, and it doesn't need to be music or it doesn't need to be anything. Like I get more inspired by like black and white photography.
Okay.
If I'm like in a rut design wise, like I will stop and look at old photo books. It just kind of sinks me into that kind of like almost sadness where like creativity lives, and you just go through. And that's like when you're doing music, like you kind of just take little bits of inspiration and then you start doing it, and it sometimes comes out in the clothes that everyone's currently wearing. You know, like there's a million different ways to do a song, for example, but you write, so you've got some chords and you've got like, for me, it was like sampling like vocals and things like that. Yeah. So I kind of have that. And then it can be a drum and bass song if you put a drum and bass beat on it. It can be like a Jersey song if you switch it up a little bit. Yep. And at the time it was like that kind of future bassy thing, I think, but it was just like an indie version of electronic music. It was like not super jump uppy. And that no matter what you do, when you're going to do some sort of creative output, you have influence from all these things that have both consciously and subconsciously come through you. And then you make it, and it's a combination of like, it's like a curation. It's like walking into an art gallery. It's like, oh, these are the things that I like, and this is me. This is my version of those. And sometimes you get like, I see it with people because I know a lot of musicians through these things where something works and then they're tied to that. Yeah. And that's super tough. And I think one thing I've realized about myself is like an artist to some level, at least like a reaching into that arena is it's you can only ride the wave of the thing that is currently interesting you. Yeah. And you can go further and deeper into it. And I've had periods of time where I've like really delved into certain styles of design and certain types of music and stuff like that. But then something else will take your interest and you'll go with that. And like that's what the creative journey is about. It's like it's how much you enjoy that. It's not about the output that you put through it. I think like as soon as commerce and other entities start to come around it like
saturates it and filters it. It like makes it different.
You know? And I think that there's some people that can totally flourish within that.
Dude, but silencing it though. I feel like there's a small percentage of people that go, "Oh, that puts a fire up under me." But then I feel like the really good ones are just like, okay. If it works, that's great. But just let me do the thing. And then once you get rid of that pressure and you're like, all right, there it is. Oh, it's really fucking good. It makes heaps of money. Yeah, cool. That's because I didn't worry about that.
Yeah. You know? I think that there's the line, right? And a spectrum. And at one end you have commerce and at the other end you have creativity. And pure creativity is like you completely alone just doing something for the love of the game. Yeah. And then pure commerce is like the most packaged, dressed up version of that. Yeah,
models, that's what it is.
And then you just need to live in society. Like if you want to be a busker and really struggle in life, but just be pure full expression, then that's probably closer to the end. Yeah. But everyone views everyone sees the greats in any type of art, and they were the ones that happened to pull that line into a circle and make the whole thing work for them. Oh, but it's almost no one does it.
Great analogy. That's fucking awesome. Because obviously, like how many names come to mind of big artists that they're like, John Butler Trio. Playing at Fremantle, 100 years ago, just a bloody 20 people, and you're like, yeah, of course, that's where they started, and look where they are now.
I told you. Did I tell you that I told my brother that? So my brother's 4 years younger than me, and I used to just fuck with him when he was a kid, like you do. But what I like to do was I would just tell him. Occasionally, I'd just tell him a lie, a very believable lie. Yeah. And then just keep the conversation moving. So, and just see what happened with that seed that I planted. Yeah. And one of them was that I told him that I told him that because I fucking hate John Butler and that rootsy shit. I've never liked it. Like, I like so much stuff, but just that to me was just like, it was like tradie rock for dudes with dreadlocks.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree with you. I've never been a fan.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
You can be. I'm not going to. I won't besmirch you.
I appreciate that it's art in its own right. It's something that as soon as it comes on, I'm like, I smoke weed and I don't enjoy this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
All of them, the Donovan, Franken, I just can't. Jack Johnson, even I can't get into it. But they, I told my brother that JB Hi-Fi had just started, and I was like, JB Hi-Fi is John Butler Hi-Fi.
Sick.
I said his parents own like BHP, and he's like a hopeless musician, and the only way they could get him distribution was by opening a fucking chain of stores, and that's why his shitty music is played everywhere because the record stores buy it.
Yeah.
And then I heard him telling someone that story like four years later. I was like, yes.
Good. One more on the bingo card, you know?
John Butler Hi-Fi.
I want to go back to something you were talking about before. Yeah, so talking about like creative process, because I think part of accepting it is understanding that, and like, dude, there's so many cliche one-liners around this, right? Everything is art. That's such a like fucking nothing line. But you know about, I used to do speed skating and whatnot.
Yeah. So
without tooting my own horn, I'm an exceptionally good rollerblader, right? Like it's one of those things that as an adult, as a 32-year-old, I look at my feet moving while I'm skating. I'm like, how the fuck are you possibly this good at this?
Yeah, it was just completely baked in
it's baked in. That's what it is. And it's like, I used to go to the rink every day of the school holidays for 6 hours minimum for years, right? I would go to the rink every day after school and either do figure skating, speed skating, off skate, whatever, right? I was that kid. And when you do something that much, it's like the 10,000 hours, you master something, right? So when you do something that much, it's like at the start, you learn how to like stand up on your skates, and you learn how to go forward, and you learn how to go around a corner, and then you learn how to go backwards, and then you learn how to, and it keeps on going and going and going till it gets to a point that then you start transitioning the things together. Like I can do this sort of turn from forwards to backwards. Now I can do it on one foot. Now I can jump it. Now I can sort of like skid into it and rotate out. And then that keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you find there's a gap between the transition that you can feel with something, the transition in and the transition out of going forwards to backwards. You following me?
Yeah.
And then you realize there's gaps in between that as well. And you start to get such micro skills that all link together that create a bigger picture. They create a longer storyline. And then you get so fluent at those that becomes a language that your body organically speaks without you telling it what to do. That's fucking art, right?
Yeah.
And that's
but that's where you have the ability to create art within that. It's like the skill set has been completely built into you, and you're moving through it.
Right. You're the expression of it.
Yeah.
So when you're saying, like there's a million ways to make a song, tell me to make a song, and it's like blowing bubbles and banging things together. I can't do it. Like I don't know it. I don't know the basics of it. I don't know how to get up off my skates metaphorically in the music world. So when you say putting all those pieces together, it's like that makes sense. You go, there's a million ways to make a song, because it's the same as me putting on my skates and rolling down a massive hill backwards and doing a power slide. Like, fucking yeah, I could have done this. However, how do you want it? How do you want to see this? And I'll do it that way. You know,
it's expression. I think like that's the thing. The thing I've always liked about music is that you don't need to know how to use the things. Like just as a human, you get something, you put it in front of you, and you start playing around with it, and you figure out a pattern. You don't need to know, and no one can tell you it's bad.
Yeah.
Like you listen, like Bob Dylan can't sing at all. You know, like he would not in the sense of when he came out, that the idea of him being a singer wouldn't have been a feasible thing. He was never going to get an American Idol, you know?
Yeah.
But it wasn't about how he sang. It was about what was coming through him. Like it was purely expressionism like coming through him. And that's what people do. That's why like you see, you know, you can, people always talk shit on like art, and they'll go, that's just like a red brushstroke or something like that. But if you can feel what the person was feeling when they did that, then it's done its job.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of people that are like, more sensitive to those frequencies, and then there's people that aren't.
Does the sensitivity come from the expression of self, though?
I think it comes from being able to. I think it's a place where people can kind of slow things down and feel things. It sounds pretty hoo-ha, but like I think if you're there's certain really high functioning people, like a Gary V type of dude, and he's obviously like his frequency is super, super fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like it would look like a thick line, and then you have some people that are really slow on that, and they kind of can feel and adjust to things constantly, and they tend to be more of a mess mentally.
Yeah, yeah. I think also, do you find, does this make any sense to you, the pattern of life repeats itself in every instance? Like there is a pattern that is always reoccurring in everything. The only thing that changes is the frequency of its revolution. So it's like there's a pattern of life. The day happens once a day, every 24 hours. And then there's like, for example, like a female's menstrual cycle is like once a month. And then you have these other things like the moons happen a certain amount. But the cycle is always the same. It's just the frequency of time it takes. And you even find this creatively. Like I'll go through peaks and valleys of just like fucking idea. And then it's almost like 6 weeks later, perfectly, I'll just be like, I'm accepting that I have no ideas at the moment and I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. It does resonate with me a bit because I've been on a really good run just making weird music in here. And I was kind of excited about it. I've been like showing my friends and they were like, this is cool. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then on Monday I had some free time. I'd finished at the studio and I was just in here by myself and I was playing the guitar and doing some stuff. And then I was like, I don't like this. Nothing. I feel shit. I feel bad. I should be doing this because I've got the time to do it, but I don't feel like doing it. Yeah. And then I was like, why do I even fucking bother with any of this? This is ridiculous. This is just in my head. And then I was like, all right, go home and chill, play the PlayStation, watch some TV, do whatever, and just try again tomorrow. Because whereas I think a younger me would have been like, run with the ball with that a little bit more. Yeah. And been like, and gone into a much deeper depression over it, But
so you would have fought against it.
Yeah, would have fought against it completely. And I'm trying to do the same thing in my like career, like my work life where, like I'll have really good years and then I'll have like really bad 3-month periods.
Yeah.
And during those 3-month periods, as you get older, they get scarier because you have more outgoings. And I would go through those and I'd be like, holy shit, what am I going to do? I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I'm like shaking every tree and trying everything I can. And I'm like, this might be it. Like, I don't know if the phone doesn't ring, I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then it comes good and I have like a better year than I've ever had.
Yep.
And then it comes down again. And now these days, when it comes down, I tend to go, okay, well, you get a couple of weeks, you can kind of, keep your eye on it, but you can relax.
Yeah.
Because every time when I'd come back into a busy period, I'd be like, man, if I knew that this was going to happen, I would have gone on a holiday or I would have taken some time.
Went to the beach, yeah.
Yeah. And I think there is cycles in everything. I do think that me and Josh talked about this like early on in the pod where it's like, my biggest criticism of myself was that like, my first criticism of myself was that I'm in a raft on the river and the river's taking me wherever it's going.
Yeah.
And I should be trying to steer the boat in some form of direction that's going with the current, but maybe I can, take a right instead of a left here. Whereas I felt like I was just sitting in the boat and life was just taking me wherever it was taking me. And I was like, oh, this is nice. And then my second criticism of myself was that I realized that, no, I was in the boat with a paddle.
Being too passive.
No, completely like busting my ass, but the paddle actually didn't do shit because the current's too strong. it's like you may as well throw the paddle away and just like
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the ride, you know?
Yeah. I have the mentality where like my job is to understand that I'm perfectly timed. Like if I get to the door and I go to unlock it and the door handle falls off and I'm running late, you're never meant to be on time. You're not in control of this shit. Your job is to maintain you, not the world.
Is that determinism? Is that what it's called?
Dude, we live in the fucking cloud. You and I can do whatever we want whenever we want. Most people can't handle that amount of freedom, right? So you have to be able to actualize that somehow. Because yesterday, all the things in the world to do. I got to pack. I got to get ready for Perth. I'm doing this 2-day course. I got to make sure everything's all good with the house and with the girl and with the business and with my mum and the dog and all these things. And it hit 2:00 and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm having a sleep. I'm having a sleep. And you know why? Because I completely trust that it's more important right now for me to have sleep and be able to execute the things that I need to do than to be tired and try and do them.
Yeah.
To get to
it's hard to slow that down though sometimes where you're like, that's a good place to be where you can go, all right, I'm going to listen to my body. I know I'm going to be better for this.
It's a skill I constantly have to get better at because sometimes there are days where you're like, I want to have a sleep and it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Now we have to exercise a skill about being able to do this to the best of our ability, but fatigued.
Yeah, so you're like a seize the day guy.
Oh, brother, I'm in it.
You're on it. Yeah, I'm not at all. Like I'm trying to be like kinder to myself. I think like I'm not that like hustle mentality of like or like what's the word, like high it's not called hijacking, but like, you know,
not biohacking or something.
Yeah, kind of like life hacking yourself into this majorly productive thing so that you can do this and this. Like I was caught in my version of that and like I think potentially like really successful people get good at that and run with it. Yeah. But that kind of life philosophy is it's not for me, eh? Like I read all the same books as everyone else. I kind of got into the same shit and like it's intoxicating, this idea of like 10xing this and doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But I didn't find that I found that I was just more at peace with everything when I was doing the things that I enjoy, and I was better to the people around me, and I can survive on the money.
Yeah.
Like, and I make relatively good money, so it's like the idea of like busting your ass, even in the sense of like building a business. Like, I looked really deeply into like hiring other designers and doing it and using because I've got a very good profile and like using that to like lure in clients and then have like a team of people doing the work and I just creative direct and stuff. And I was like, I looked at the numbers of it and you end up running a fucking agency and you end up running a business.
Yeah.
And then your life my life personally would be in managing people and managing all that sort of stuff. And I like just making stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's like I like skating. Do I own the skating rink because I'm good at business?
Yeah.
Does it mean I'm going to be skating every day? No, it means you're running a fucking skating rink. You know?
It's different. And I don't fucking like business. I don't. I think it's a necessary evil and I think it's intoxicating because I did love it when I was in my 20s. I was very much just like, you know, printing t-shirts, even the club night stuff. It's like, oh, we're doing this and it's converting this and that. But you can get caught up in the wheels of that. And it's very easy because when you are getting some success, you have people around you going, oh my God, like, I wish I had your drive. Like, I wish there's an elevation to it. And there is like a form of social capital to it that definitely exists online.
Yep.
But I don't know. As I get older, I'm like, and it might just be, I don't think it's defeat, but I think it's more so like, I want to enjoy my life. I like doing the things that make time melt away. And I have a few of those and I really feel more at peace and more happiness when I'm doing that than when I'm like, you know, trying to wheel and deal like 10 things at a time. And I like the human connection of knowing a person, and I do a lot of work with like startups and people who their first leap out of like an idea is coming to
you and expanding on it.
Yeah, it's the first time that they're getting to like, first time they're putting real money down, and the first time that they're going, well, this is a fucking thing now. You know, like we have this thing, and I enjoy that. I like understanding why people are doing what they're doing, because there's an underlying thing. Like, I think at the end of the day, like everyone's, you know, we live in a horribly commerce-driven society, but I think that people that are starting a business still at their core, for the most part, the ones that I deal with, they're doing it out of like a genuine passion for something, at least the seed of a passion for something, you know?
100%. I think
that's why the course is like what you're doing scares the shit out of me.
Dude.
Where it's like, man, you got to be doing, you know, those guys, there's like the guy on there, the closer guy he was like big on TikTok, and he'd be like telling everyone they're a piece of shit. Like, why aren't you closing?
Brother, it's another version of the ShamWow guy. It's the same as Big Kev, I'm excited. It's all the same thing. It's to evoke an emotion of urgency to buy my product, right? I think the thing that like is sort of resonating as you go through it, because I'll footnote this with, I remember when I came on the pod with you guys, I was saying, you know, I've got all these things happening. I'm thinking about running for council. I'm thinking about this and want to start a family and like business and rah, rah. And you're like, man, one day life's going to take it all away from you. And it really like fucking hit me like a ton of bricks, you know? I like put it in my back pocket to unpack later, because if I let it happen then I would have fucked the podcast. You know what I mean? And I was like,
what did I say that to you?
Yeah, you said it to me. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's a horrible thing to say. I'm sorry.
No. It's because I mean, this is part of growing up. You know, you have to understand like, well, what's his motivation for saying that? Because he wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. He's also experienced his dad passing away, and I don't know what that feels like. He's also been roughing it as a businessman, as a creator, and all the rest. And I'm essentially on my first 10 days of it. You know, I was 2 years in?
Yeah.
3 years in. I was at the point where I could donate 6 hours of my week to making new clips. That's where I was at in business.
Yeah.
I don't give people 6 minutes on the phone unless it's going to convert. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is. It's just that like life just comes and just takes all of your time, and you're like, what the fuck?
Dude, you know they say in school, one day you're going to be out there in the real world and fucking you're going to learn. I find that there's these parts of your life where the real world exists in different forms, and in that moment you're the real world. You're the real world telling me this is probably what's going to happen, expect it, you know? And part of that is I argue against that in my actions and in my habits, because while you might be right, I want you to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's part of the spirit of life. You know, it's like I don't want it to be taken away from me. And so,
yeah, dude. The thing is this: the conversation that we're having is like, I get it, and I understand that that's your mentality.
Yeah,
and you're in it right now.
Yeah,
and it's like that's the way you're living. Like I can never tell anyone that anything's not going to work. There's no negativity in that sense.
Yeah, of course.
I think there's like a generation gap there to a degree where it's like the thing that I fucking tell people is, because I have younger dudes that are in here, and I'm not like a wise person by any stretch, but your like capacity to be motivated is so extreme in your fucking 20s and into your 30s. And somewhere around 35, it starts dropping off, and no one fucking talks about it. Yeah. It starts dropping off, and it's so noticeable, because when you're younger, or certainly I'll say for me, when I was younger, I could get anything done just by going, I'm not leaving this desk until it's done. And I would like do all-nighters, like on an Origin, you know, coming up with the whole concept for what Origin was going to look like on a year.
Yeah.
I would be like, the last 48 hours, it would just be like Dexies and me at a desk and just smashing it. And I did it for so many jobs, because That's where the true magic happens in panic. And then you get the idea and then you're like, oh, cool, we're good. Good. But the panic runs up to that. I can't do that anymore because I don't have, the motivation isn't there. I will literally call the client and go, it's going to be another 3 days. Yeah. And then I will stage it out. I've tried to do it. My brain shuts off and is like, because you learn that you don't need to as much. And I don't need to like run at such a high frequency to be able to get the output that I guess that I'm like somewhat comfortable with. Like I'm always trying to express myself creatively and trying to lift myself in that sense. Yeah. And my career is on an upward trajectory. Like I'm getting more clients, bigger jobs.
Yeah. More of the ideal job.
More meat now. I think like I've done big jobs. Like I did obviously like Labyrinth and things like that are big in stature.
Yeah.
But they're pretty thin jobs. It's just, you're just kind of giving a visual identity to someone's album run. Yeah. And even though that's a massive thing, it's not like a really, really deeply thought out thing. Whereas now, like I'll work with, more boring things, but they're a lot more, like redoing the art gallery of WA, like you need to consider like the million of different applications of things that you can't just throw a logo to someone and a couple of posters. So I think you reach a point of competency and confidence where you go, I don't need to be doing that. Like I don't need to be going to those lengths to impress someone. I can do it at my own pace and I can hand over. It doesn't need to be. And I think the sad thing about that is that the creative ambition lives there. So you lose a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of trying to fight for that back. This is something that I thought happened psychologically to me when I went through a pretty deep kind of grief-driven depression after my dad died. I was like, oh no, like the faculties that I relied on aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
And then because I was in the same mentality that you're in now, I'm like hyper analyzing like my own mental health. And then I'm hyper analyzing. I'm trying to like biohack myself back to, and I was like, this is a fool's errand. Like this just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I realized you need to stop gripping the fucking steering wheel because the steering wheel isn't actually attached to anything.
Yeah, there's by the way, what I said was all love.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking about how I word it. I'm like,
it's funny to hear someone's reaction to something that you've said that I don't even remember saying. Yeah, I understand I understand what was behind it.
That's a fucking podcast. People come up to me like, remember this thing you talked about? Man, I just started this whole run. I went off and spoke to my friend. He's like, I don't remember who was on the podcast, let alone what I said, But it's, 100%.
But you've got to go, like you need to take this fucking motivation and this fucking fire and you need to run with it as fast and as far as you can until it starts to fucking diminish a little bit,
I think like even as you're like breaking it down, I think there's an underlying knowledge that you're right in that like you hit that stage 35, whatever it is, or that event, because that event is coming, whatever it looks like for me. Yeah. And I can think of 6 possible things. I don't even want to say them out loud because they scare me so much, right? Whatever it is, I just want to make sure that I've done as much work as I can, not on the face value, but on the back end, right? The people I don't care about, I don't care about. The things that I don't care about, I don't care about. And like, it sounds so obvious to say it, but it's like, even like the drinking and drug culture that I've exited myself from, not forever, but just for now, because it's like, let me build while I am this freak of execution and make this machine that makes not money, but opportunities for my family, for my friends, and if I just sit back and look at what's happened in just the past 12 months, it doesn't make sense. It like literally has been miracle. And now it's like, all right, as you say, I take my hands off the wheel. I'm like, where's my nose pointing? What makes sense? Apply myself and just like dumb it down. What's the 3 basic things that needs to happen to execute this to the best of my ability? For example, all right, now we've built this back-end system for my business. Now we need something to plug leads into it. Okay, I know how to teach myself shit. I taught myself how to build a fucking program to manage my back-end project management, right? I can learn all this shit. As I said off cam, I can learn all this shit off YouTube. What's the easiest, most diluted way to do this? I want to have the knowledge. I want to understand it. Cool. What are the top 3 options? Sweet. It's this, that, or the other. Which one do I trust the most? Value for money, da-da-da. As soon as you made that decision, you trust it, execute on it. I couldn't afford the course. I borrowed the money. Off you go.
Yeah.
You know? And like my fear/excitement is that when that day does come, when that moment comes, that year, that part of my life, and you're like, oh shit, the steam isn't as hot as what it used to be. Thank God I did all the shit I had to back then. Thank God.
To what end though?
To what end?
Like, are you talking about like building yourself enough of a financial basis and like a career basis?
I don't
to fall
care
back on?
about money. That will happen because I'm good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more focused on being good at this shit because I know if I'm good at this shit, that will come. If I'm good at deals, they'll make money. Fine. Everyone needs uniforms and I sell them. Who cares? Right? It's the ability to go, it's 5:30. I don't care who you are unless you're my fiance or my dog. Right? It's Saturday morning. I'm going running with the boys, and then we're sitting at the cafe until we run out of fucking energy because that's what we do. It's Sunday. I'm sleeping in. If I wake up early, I go back to sleep. I don't go, oh, I'm up early. I might just, fuck you, dude. Go back to sleep. Right? It's Sunday afternoon. You sleep on the couch. You watch a movie, even if you don't enjoy it, and you stay there. You don't go out and like make up things to do because I know too many times you get to Tuesday and you're like, great example. Had to have a sleep literally yesterday afternoon because I put lights up in my fucking garage on Sunday. I broke my own rule, right? And these are the things, these are the skills, the muscles I'm trying to grow now so that by the time I'm 40, 50, 60, I've got those muscles. I'm not wishing I grew them back then. I grew them back then.
Yeah. So you're building discipline and structure.
Yeah, the structure, the routine, the like, and like this is the thing. You go through your whole 20s. I don't know about you, but it was like I had to go through this entire rule-breaking experience as a young and mid-20s and just go, I don't fucking need structure. I don't need security. I need a caravan. I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to do drugs. I need to stay up late. I need to have girlfriend. I need to do all these things. And then now all I want is just simplicity. I just want quiet, you know? I just want to be good at the things I want to be good at and not care about the things I don't care about. And also like, dude, you hear that someone said something about you. Every time I go, oh, I wonder why they said, fuck them. Fuck them. I don't know you. I don't know your motivations. I don't know what the goal is. I mean, in contrast to someone like you who once I understood like what, and I'm not going to fucking suck you off here, but once I understood what you had achieved and why you had a podcast and I heard about you through Geordie and I was like, oh, dude, StreetX, Loston, this, that, the other. I'm like, okay, I'm in a similar field and you're talking on a long form format and I can absorb all of this, you are organically on a pedestal. I meet you in real life. I do a podcast and doing your clips and then you say it's all going to be taken away from you. It's like, oh, I respect your opinion. Why would you say that? Da, da, da? So that compared to someone who goes, oh, the Black Ink guy from Bunbury doing food reviews and shit. I heard he used to do OnlyFans. Dude, I don't fucking know you.
Yeah. So you take it with a grain of salt.
So you exercise what you want to get better at. I want to understand why did Scott say that. I'm not going to sit here and think about this dude for 45 minutes and let him ruin my Sunday afternoon because I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just like an example.
I suppose because you put yourself out there with things, there's like comments and shit, right?
Expect it.
Yeah, that was a funny one. It never fucking bothered me at all with the podcast. Like every now and then, like we had that thing where like you made that clip.
Hey, undefeated, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna have a cigarette break, and we'll jump back in on that because it's a good point to start.
Oh yeah, the fucking.
We were saying that clip. Yeah, the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that clip that you made where I'd been talking about
Toyotas in
Afghanistan or something, or Syria. And the story was that I was telling Josh that that I'd heard from one of an ex-girlfriend's friend at like a dinner party or something. He was telling me, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly or if it's like, I was like, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And then I explained that someone had had their car stolen. The police never found it, and then he was watching the TV, and his fucking Hilux was in Syria with his electrician's sticker on the side. And then I said to Josh, now let's fact check that. And we looked into it, and it was like, it wasn't this guy's friend. It was it happened in America. He'd obviously heard about it. It had been diluted into that story. I had probably forgotten
his
parts of it.
His brother probably lied to him about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then which was quite genius, and I think is the way that social media works, is like you cut that up without the explanation because it was in a short form thing.
Yeah.
And it just went, like, I think what we'd put, it was the first time I'd ever gone on TikTok. And I don't do TikTok, but I kind of tried it when we were doing the podcast, just putting the same stuff up that we were putting on Instagram. And it was something crazy. It was like 1 million views or something.
Yeah.
And it was just people being like, another couple of fucking idiots with a podcast.
Dude, it's
spouting misinformation. And I was so entertained by it. Like, I genuinely was. I remember Josh saying to me, he's like, man, you're getting a lot of hate. And I was like, that's not real.
Yeah. Again, you
like,
don't know
I was so fortunate to feel that way, because I was like, if I had taken those things seriously, it would have broken me. But I was like, well, that was not what I was saying anyway. And like, it's fucking funny that people are so upset about this.
I think also you always had the mentality of like, yeah, we're a couple of fucking white dudes with a podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
just talking shit.
You're not arguing the fact that like, yeah, I know exactly what this is. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay.
Yeah. So I don't get big on like, on too much advice and like philosophy and stuff, you know, because at the end of the day, it's like the people around me I'll speak to about like how I feel about certain things. But then that was the other part of the podcast, I think, in the end, was like, is there any value in this? You know, like there was value to the people that listened, but it was like, is there any value in my opinion every week? My like offhanded opinion on whatever happened to be happening in the world at that time.
Yeah.
It's like, there's only so many times that I could be like, oh yeah, we don't know what we're fucking doing. It's like, well, shut the fuck up then.
Yeah.
You know? But then there is inherent value in the podcast format. Like, I know that we had like a lot of listeners. I think we had
you had
more than 700.
Yeah, which is 7x what I have right now.
Yeah.
Right? I have 100 loyal listeners, like based off my stats. That's people who actually listen every week.
Mm-hmm.
That's to the audio shit. Like the video stuff on YouTube is like, I got 360 subscribers.
Yeah.
You know, on a good video.
YouTube's crazy because we got like a bunch of subscribers because we had
got like 2 point something K.
Yeah. And that all happened pretty quickly when it happened because, and that was just because we had 2 guests that popped off on the internet.
Dude, you had fucking Craig Jones on your podcast.
Yeah. The funniest thing about that is like, and this is the beauty of a podcast as well, is like, I had zero idea who that was.
Yeah.
And Josh was a big fan of what he was doing. Him and Bradshaw were doing stuff. So I knew me and Bradshaw have known each other for many, many years. So it was really easy just to go in there and just talk to that dude as like a guy that I just met. And then they could talk about jiu-jitsu and shit.
Yeah.
But then I could just talk about what the fuck ever. So I was learning about him as he was telling me.
Yeah.
So that was pretty organic. It was cool.
I think that's, like I told you just before we got started, a podcast that will be posted by the time this comes out. So it's contextual, the Channel 10 guy, you know, and I'm learning on the podcast that this guy was a major part of reality TV shows that I grew up on. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he's telling me these things, like talking about walking through the line for the first day of auditions for Australian Idol, and he sees Guy Sebastian doing vocal warm-ups in the line, and he's like, holy shit, this guy's not trying to aura farm by like, you know, being a big personality. You could just tell by the way he sounded as you were past. You're like, God damn, there's one.
Yeah.
You know, and then the guy goes on to win, you know? And it's like that, being able to just talk to this person and sort of like, I don't know, I feel like I am good enough at doing the thing now that even if I'm being enamored by that moment, I'm not being sucked out of who I am, which is like, I mean, again, that's another skill, you know, to be able to just like.
That's the battle as well, man. Like that's what I found. So Josh left the podcast and then I was like, I don't feel like it's done. Like I was like, there's something in this that I still want to do. And I thought, okay, well, I'll do some more. So I think I did about 10 maybe.
Yeah.
And
horribly timed apart. I remember I'd build my hopes up and there's one coming out, you're like, fuck yeah, you get into it, and then you're like, sweet, listen to it, I'm all amped up again, like next week, and then next week comes and you're like, Scott, where are you?
Yeah,
you know?
no, that was the thing, man. It's just, it was so hard to maintain when I wasn't responsible for someone else's time.
Yeah.
Because when Josh was doing it with me, it was like, all right, well, he's here. He needs to go out because
commitment to
he's
each
given
other.
his time.
Yeah.
And that, like, I need to be beholden to something.
Yep.
But I'd found, like, I had Shock One and I had Justin Howes and I had someone else and, like, Yoni was on a couple of times and stuff. So I was kind of finding my feet with the format again. And then I booked a bunch of comedians in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew a couple of them. And the other thing was guests fucking cancel like last minute, and you can't just riff with a friend.
Tell me about it.
So like I did a fucking the one with ChatGPT was pretty interesting.
Oh,
I did like a podcast with ChatGPT.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I think I tapped out of it pretty quickly. Just because there was no tonality in ChatGPT at the time.
Yep, that was it. But I was all set up to do the pod, and then the guest cancelled on me. Like I was like, "Where are you?" And he was like, "Holy shit, I'm so sorry." So I just did that.
That's the equivalent of like planning a first date, and she bails, and you're like, "I'll have a wank."
Exactly. That was the modern version of it.
Yeah.
But I found that when I'd booked the comedians, because it was through another comedian friend of mine, and Fringe was on, and he was like, "Do you want some guests for the pod? Because I've got a bunch of comedians."
Yep.
So I booked like 3, and I found that I was like, because I didn't know them, I felt a bit too eager to please and to get them like excited and oh, so you're into this and so you do this. And then I was like, oh, this doesn't feel natural at all.
Yeah.
And like I was like racing to try and get the conversation going because there was nothing to bounce back on.
Yep.
And also like, you know, I didn't know the people. So that was a relatively new thing. And then I had Andrew, I forget his last name, Andrew, the comedian, he went to prison.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was sick. But like when I was doing that one, I'd read his book. I'd really kind of like had a big long conversation with him and stuff. And then I just, at the end of it, I was like, what's the fucking point of this?
Yeah.
Like it was just like he's done like 9 podcasts that month, and am I just now like bottom feeding to try and get? It was like, oh, I'm not sure why I'm doing this anymore.
Yeah, I think,
and that felt final to me. So I was like, all right, that's done. Whereas when Josh had decided he was going to bounce, I was like, I kind of feel like there's still something here. So I had to explore it.
If you could get Josh back, I think you could almost go guestless. You got to, like, I understand that my podcast is based more around relatability than it is around a guest, a name. Because I don't, like, I would love to get on here and talk to you about Loston and tell me about Bradshaw and tell me about your experience with Straight X. All very interesting stuff to me.
Yeah.
And if someone's like a fan of you, well, they already know that. They already kind of get that. I feel like, and I'm not saying that this is like was my plan at the start, but as soon as I like twigged onto my mind, I'm like, I'm so scared of the day that my dad is going to die. And when it's sort of like, oh, that's right, that's a point of like, I would love to ask you about that because you're a guy and because I'm a guy.
Yeah.
And there's that relatability there. And it's like, I know that the same as a dude that's the Channel 10 guy, I sit down with him and it's just like, where's our commonality? I don't really care about the thing that makes us different because that's obvious, and that will pop its head up halfway through, and that sort of makes it exciting when you're starting to go like, oh, what's this conversation? But if you can find that relatability, like when I have the mayor on there and he's telling me all these things about Bunbury and all the rest, and there's going to be people that watch it because he's the mayor. There's also going to be people that watch it that don't know that he's the mayor, that don't know what the responsibility of the mayor is. And you go, hey man, like you're a young guy and you're the fucking mayor. How's that affected you being a friend? How's that affected you being like a guy who goes home and still has to wash under his arms and like, tell me about that, because that's relatable. And I find that that's an extremely slow burn, an extremely long road to having a notable podcast. And that's why I've been doing this probably longer than what you've done. You did your podcast and I have less people listening to it.
Yeah, but it's a slow, steady burn. You're trying to build
and I
something.
fuck with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm very interested. I feel like I could sit here and grill you all night about questions to do with being a person, not being Loston.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a lot of like value. Like I found that when I was doing it for some reason, I did notice there felt like there was a lot of value to me in doing it.
Yeah.
And then the fact that other people appreciated it and liked it. And then when you were like regularly be like, why is this going out? Like it's actually kind of dangerous to put out. And then it would be like, well, there's a fucking 1,000 people who are going to listen to it or something. And then I think if it would have popped up bigger than that, I can't say I would have wanted to have been like a podcaster, like as my whole thing. This is the thing. Like if you get a little bit of a spark with something, you then have to work really hard at it to make it something. Yeah. And I don't have always the work hard at it thing. I have the like, I enjoy LARPing as like a podcaster for a few years,
Interesting. Yeah.
But I wasn't like, at no point when we were doing that were we like, now let's do this and like, let's make it this and make it that. It was like, we could see if we could get decent guests. I really wanted to, the one thing I missed doing with, I really wanted to try and get a couple of people related to the Claremont serial killer on.
Oh, there was always like a shadow of that conversation.
Yeah, actually. Man. I just was so interested in it. And I was like, I'd reached out to the guy that wrote the book. He was like a Channel 7 reporter. And he never got back to me. And then, I was considering trying to speak to his daughter because I knew a couple of people that kind of knew her. Yeah. Because she was in like the music scene. But then I was like, what is it now? Is this going to be like a weird, I don't know. There's a few episodes there that I was like genuinely proud of. And then there was a lot of really fun times with my friends. I'm sure it will probably come back to buy me at some point.
Dude, so the first 100 pods that I did was solo, talking to the camera for at least 45 minutes, like an insane person, And like
that would have been a tough upload.
Oh, dude! But the thing is, like, no one was listening, so I didn't care. Now you get to a point where, like, all right. For example, I've had the mayor on twice, and I have these interesting people in Bunbury that now I can just send a message to, like, you want to come on? They're like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, you're the young dude that has it's like sweet, it's kind of cool. Do I go back and delete all the other ones where I spend 15 minutes talking about nothing at the start? So, this podcast is sort of like, and what I want to talk about, it's like, didn't say anything for so long.
Yeah.
But I don't delete them because I feel like it's now the longest conversation I've ever had with anyone is with a microphone. And it's one of those things where, like, it's almost a gift to my children. It's a gift to the people who are starting something when I've made mine, that they can go, here's him sucking.
Yeah.
In 2020, It's like he started in his caravan doing this, and now he's got 4 Porsches, whatever it looks like. It's like there is a pathway and you can track it the whole time. And I think the great thing is, like, I don't steer away from vulnerability. I'm happy to sit here and tell you, like, you said this one thing to me 2 years ago and it made me change my perception of who I am as a person, And it's like, it's fucking scary to do that.
Yeah.
But also it's so rewarding if you lean into it. And if we can somehow find the relatability for it so someone can listen and go like, I feel a bit more human, which is what I got from your podcast as well.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that a lot of people got from it. Because it was, I remember speaking to my mum about it, because she would listen, and I just was like, well, that's a terrible idea. And she said, she goes, oh, sometimes you guys talk about really important things, and then other times it's like, I don't even want to listen, you know? And I said, well, the reason that it works is because we're being very honest.
Yeah.
And it's relatable to a bunch of people because we are just being ourselves and we're not worried about how that's going to be conceived. So there's trust there so that when you do talk about something that's a little bit deeper, they can follow you down that road. Whereas if you just came on and the only episodes you had were like about like depression or like dealing with friend suicide or, you know, various different things, it gets very fucking preachy.
Yeah.
And I hate those, dude. Like I really don't like shit like Diary of a CEO. Like I fucking hate it. It's performance art.
Yeah.
And it's all like, it's like a fucking a wellness app. Everything just feels like that. It feels like headspace.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
like they're like, so how did you feel about this? And also everyone having this idea that like their philosophical view on the world is like worthwhile. You know, like, and that was the other thing that I found with doing the pod is like, you can just be like, yeah, fuck, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
Or like, maybe there wasn't a lesson to be learned in this. Maybe it's just funny to have had a fucking dumbass experience, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas like, for a long time, like that's why I really like Matt and Shane's Secret podcast.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Which I listen to all the time.
It's perfect.
Because it's just people having a fucking laugh and they're talking about various different things. But the thing that I found, especially with like interviewing comedians and stuff, was like they were feeling like, to them it's like, how am I going to get content out of this? What am I doing? And I was like, I don't really care. I just like, I'm down for a convo.
Yeah.
But I mean, on their side, they're like, well, I'm trying to fucking sell tickets to a show or get my name out there more.
You can tell, like, and obviously, like, the North Star is Rogan, right? And when he gets his comedy friends on there, and then you listen to that and find yourself learning from the shit they're talking about, you're like, oh, they're not looking for the bit. They're talking as if they're, you know, the best. Fuck, we're talking about the podcast on the podcast, which I hate.
Meta.
But you want to be talking, having a conversation that's valuable for the fly on the wall, not for the audience. If you're making it for the audience, it's a performance.
Yeah, as soon as you start thinking about it in an audience. But then again, dude, this is the thing, is like, I don't fucking know. Because I did a barely successful podcast for a few years and then it ended. Maybe if I was like coming up with like talking points that related directly to what the algorithm was picking up that month, then made shorts out of it. Like I'd seen people that don't have a podcast making podcast shorts content to get a following on
that.
And you start to see the inner workings of that and the back end of it, and you're like, I don't want to be involved in this at all.
Yeah, but dude, this is the same as, you know, people ask me, why don't you sell uniforms? Why don't you just make a website and sell them to everyone everywhere? Like Australia-wide, international. Because I think there's more value in taking 1/100th of the pool and doing a really good job for them. You know, the payoff for me is like, as I said before, like the money will come if you do the thing well. The money will come. So forget about the money. And also, you've lived so far. Realistically, nothing has failed. You just learnt heaps.
Yeah.
Right, and you fail upwards and you fail fast. It's all good. So I'm not really concerned about whether it's going to work or not financially. I do care about if I stand up after the 1, 2, 3, 4 hours we talk and I walk away and I go, I know Scott better.
Yeah.
You know, and also I feel better about myself and I got so real that I'm scared to post it. I found that's a really key indicator as to if people are going to like it or not. And if it's only 100 people now, it's better than 10.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's all it is.
And the thing is like, it's better to do shit than not do shit. Like that was the one thing I really enjoyed about doing the pod. I think it filled like a gap for me where it was like, I'd always been doing something extracurricular. There was always, it was like, oh yeah, well like a hobby to some degree, but like just a project, just something to sink my teeth into. And I like the process of the whole thing. You know, like I enjoyed the conversation. I like the edit, like doing a quick edit and stuff like that. And like it shit me sometimes, but for the most part, like it's an enjoyable thing. And it's like at the end of it all, like when you are going to die, you just be like, you're not going to be like, I wish I didn't do that much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
You know?
I think,
Plus, you don't want to be one thing. I think that's the thing that I've always felt is like, I don't want to be one thing. Like I was like, I remember when I first came to putting out music, electronic music, I was like, I was sitting there, I had the music, I'd shown friends, they were like, this is good. And I was like, the barrier for entry was so low. It's just like, make a SoundCloud, nice piece of art, put it up.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, nah, I can't do that because I'm not like a electronic musician.
Yeah.
And people are going to laugh at me for this. And I paused for a moment and then I was like, what a sad way to live your life.
Yeah.
If I allow that to be the reason that I don't do it, because people are going to be like, huh.
Yeah.
And it's like, the reality is that I can't imagine how many fucking podcast clips got sent in private DMs from people I know to other people I know going, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know, like, or just being like, what a fucking dickhead. Like, but it didn't really bother me because no one ever fucking said, I had nothing but positive feedback from people about it.
Do you have a hobby that no one knows about? When I say no one, like, you know, homegirl, mum and dad, they can know. But I mean, like, in general, if someone saw Scott doing this thing, they'd be like, fuck, I didn't know you.
I love killing prostitutes.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that.
I'm trying to get a Netflix deal.
Yeah. No, I think there's
what do I do? There's things like I play a lot of guitar, which no one I'm just thinking of things that don't go on Instagram.
And that's the definition, right? It's not publicly done where people can go on, oh, you know, here's a video of him doing it.
Yeah, I'm sliding into the group of people that don't really fucking participate much in social media anymore.
Yeah, good.
Which is good. You just kind of go, okay. That's the weirdest thing about like I was saying before about I've made a bunch of music and I'm thinking about putting it out, but it's like I need to be cool with just putting it out and going, hey guys, this is out.
Yeah.
Because I can't jump, like I see the way that like marketing, I just see the way that shit works now and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Yeah. I can't play that fucking
also,
game.
Can't be bothered starting this, what is a massive amount of effort, but is drip fed every day from your attention span.
Yeah. But also it feels dirty, man, being in there. Like even when, like towards the end, with the podcast, like I really enjoyed doing it. And I was like, we're going to do this because we do it and it's enjoyable.
Yep.
I'm not going to fucking sit around making reels and stuff because I hated it.
You know, AI does it all now, right?
Yeah, but I hate that because all you're doing is converting your podcast into junk mail and then jamming it in people's letterboxes. Like, it's like, you know, when you make it, it's art like anything else. Like when you cut together a reel in a cool way and it times well and all of that, there's like some humanity to it. Whereas you can, I don't know if you can, but I can see through when shit's done by AI, like I can see it.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And it makes me go, we tried it with that, whatever
Opus?
that fucking Opus clip was, yeah.
So Opus has come a ways. I mean, you can probably see that mine is AI generated. I also have, like, you know, talked about the three things, right? What are the three things that I do? Doing food reviews, I'm not really a culinary expert. I don't really care what people think about my opinion in eating food. But it does fit into the greater picture. And I don't like editing it either. I hate hearing my own voice. I hate, you know, making it sexy and exciting and popping. But people trust me more because of it. And the trust is worth more than the time it takes to make it. The clips for me, it's like, well, I don't like AI generated stuff either. But I don't like I don't want to listen back to the whole podcast to go, that was a good spot, that was a good spot, that was a good spot, which is what you need to do. Right? You almost need to have a button that I can press here and go, that was a great conversation, timestamp. But I do know that for the sake of, if I'm going to make the podcast, I should market it. And if I'm going to market it, there's a certain time allocation that I'm going to allow for that marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And to create me 40 clips that I can cherry pick the ones that I believe resonate with my audience, to let them know, hey, I did this. I get the social value back from it when people go, hey, I saw you had George on the pod. I saw you had Jason on the pod. I saw you had Scott on the pod. And even if they don't listen to it, the fact that they know that it happened because of that clip, the value is there for me.
Yeah, true. I feel you. I just think that there's so much content in the world. Like it's just, we just get bombarded with it. And it's like, if you want, I just feel like if I want something to connect, I need to actually put some of myself into it.
Yeah.
You know, like I understand AI as a tool. I think this is an interesting conversation. I think AI is very overstated. Do you know about Elizabeth Holmes? Is it Elizabeth Holmes? I think her name is.
The name rings a bell.
She started a
Oh, is that the blood thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for the sake of the audience, she started a company where you would send a DNA sample to her. They would then say...
It was like a single drop of blood.
Yeah, these are all the things that you are allergic to, or a genetic analysis of something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it found out that it got turned out that it was all a sham.
Yeah, it was. So it was... hang on, you're going to have to do some editing on this.
Oh, no, this is just pure dead air, baby. This
pure
is
dead air. All right, I can't remember the name of her company. But yeah, she, you know, she was the face of it, and they were a unicorn investment thing. Like, people were really getting behind it.
Yep.
And their idea was that, yeah, you could get a single drop of blood, they'd analyze it, and it would basically tell you everything that was wrong with you, and you could fix those things. And people were like, this is remarkable technology. Like, we've been kind of waiting for this. It's kind of what you perceive the future might be like.
Yeah.
And now everyone laughs at it and is like, yeah, they lied, they bullshitted, they did this and that. They believed that they could do it. They knew that they couldn't yet, but the only way that they could do it was by like aggressively expanding and getting the money to invest. So they were betting on themselves. They were betting on the fact that they could get it done. Yeah. They were fudging their results because in the end it was going to be okay because we're right on the precipice of being able to do this.
Yeah.
And then the rug gets pulled and it's like, yeah, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
And everyone laughs at it and goes, that's fucking stupid. I have a sneaking suspicion that AI is in the same place. We only have very rudimentary, you got to think about this, right? We have ChatGPT, which is a chatbot. It's impressive, but you talk to it for an hour, you realize exactly what it's doing. Mm. It's a well-dressed version of Google. It gets shit wrong a lot. It wiped my whole fucking computer from a DOS prompt.
What?
Yeah, nuts. Like, I was asking, I had a font issue, and it said, yeah, put this into your terminal. And
bro, no
and it wiped my entire computer. And then I emailed ChatGPT, I emailed OpenAI, and they ended up eventually getting back to me. And they were like, "Oh, we'll refund you this month's subscription." I was like, "I've lost."
Cool, man.
Yeah, since they're like in our terms and conditions, like that's covered pretty much.
Wow.
But the US economy is so heavily leveraged. There's only there's only really three companies in the US, right?
Yeah.
They're so leveraged on their AI investment that if it fails, the American economy is likely to fail. So every single thing that's going on at the moment, you have all these large language model things. So you've got OpenAI's ChatGPT, you've got Google's one, you got the Twitter one, the X one, Grok, whatever it's called, that went out today on an anti-Semitic rant, and had to be shut down. But they're all sort of impressive, but then we have Instagram accounts that go, this is what you can do, this is what you can do with video, this is what you can do with photo. So you play around with Midjourney, you play around with video for various different things, right? Yeah. But the majority of the really interesting things that it can do are being presented or leaked from OpenAI, from Google, and from Grok. you can't actually do them yet. They're like, this is what it can do. So the live translate, for example, I don't know if they can do it now, but at the time, the OpenAI did a thing where they were like, you can hold your phone and you can have a conversation with someone that's in a different language and it will live translate the conversation for you.
Yep.
And I was like, how do you do that? And he goes, well, that's not actually available yet, but that's something that's being built.
Yeah.
So they keep sending you this stuff so that they get more and more investment. It's an arms race because it's a race to AGI.
Yeah.
We don't actually know that they're anywhere fucking near it. We just get these like crazy sci-fi stories of like what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah.
But there's not been a lot, even when you go like Opus Clip or something like that, it's barely AI. Barely. It just picks keywords. It pulls things out.
As far
it's
as
not, I don't think it's doing anything yet in people's lives outside of being like a productivity tool. And I think it's very overstated, and I think everyone's on a race in similar way to that Elizabeth Holmes company was. They're on a race. They're like, well, theoretically we can get there, but they don't really know what the pathway is to that.
They're betting forward. They're not betting on now.
Yeah, which is a scary thing to do.
I think I was having this thought on the drive here today. You want to learn about bending metal, so you'd go see Tony the blacksmith. You go village over and be like, I want to learn how to bend metal. It's like, oh, just sit down, I'll tell you everything. And you're like, this is fucking crazy. I just went a village over and now I know how to do blacksmith stuff. And then fast forward, there's like, oh, I want to learn about clownfish. Like, you go to the library, find the book, Dewey Decimal System, bang, clownfish information. Fuck. I now want to learn about hibiscus plants. Google hibiscus plants, YouTube videos, da-da-da-da-da. Oh my God. Now I want to in-depth discovery about everything the internet has to offer about Scott Mellor. ChatGPT, tell me about Scott Mellor. Give me 20 key points so I can bring him in the conversation. And like, you're like, whoa. It's like this. There's a thing there where your dad goes, back in my day, if you wanted to learn how to spell a word, you have to look it up in the dictionary. Rah. Now you just fucking talk to your phone and rah. I think that accelerated returns of access to information, that is the impressive like bell curve in result. But
it's just a chatbot for Google.
I think you're right in that I can break down, like, my AI does the splitting for the A and B camera. It's just going what track is active at the moment with voice and aligning the video clip to it. It's not watching the video.
Yeah, it's not AI though.
Right?
That's another thing that's packaged as AI. Like, that's just basic code.
Yeah,
it's saying there's an audio level here. It's like if it was AI, it'd be like every time I, change my eye color or something, like there would be, or like change my face or something. All it's like everything now is AI. Those things, that's just like a computer tool. It just picks up audio and it switches camera.
Like it's like a plugin.
Yeah, but it's not a sentient thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just a computer. It's a very simple computer program.
Yeah, you're very right. And like, there's a lot of hearsay about what it can do,
but we don't see
still
that.
Not a heap of application in your day-to-day life.
No, and the problem is that it's, in the worst case scenario, it's scary because it's got no governing body and it's being self-governed, which is, I was actually talking to chat, because I chat to it sometimes, and I just to get it to disseminate information for me, basically. So I've trained it just to speak like someone I know and someone I listen to. So then it goes like, it explains things to me. I'm like, don't give me dot points. Make it conversational and basically make it a podcast. And then I'll talk to it about serious things. And then, but yeah, I was talking to it the other day and I was like, is there a governing body? And it was like, no. So there's this whole thing that technically could really awfully disrupt like average people's lives terribly, especially if it comes and takes all the jobs, which is the thing that everyone's really scared of. And that will be devastating. The rest of our lives will be dealing with the fallout of that. Maybe 30, 40 years after that, there will be some return to normality. That's the worst case scenario. But the fact that it's under a capitalist system where it's like you're beholden to your legally fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders to make the most amount of profits possible.
Yeah.
That's the governing body. The governing body, the only governing facility for it is that you need to make the most amount of money.
Capitalism, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a dangerous place to put that technology.
Like that, yeah.
Because if you took it back and you said that the atomic bomb was owned by Chrysler and they were floated on the stock market and they needed to get the atomic bomb as quickly as possible, and then there was another company making it and they were just feeding back to their machine and there was no government oversight, you'd be like, this is fucking terrifying. But all that is an application of nuclear power. Instead of powering cities, it's blowing things up.
And it feels very like visceral because it's a physical threat and not a technological silent code on a screen threat, right?
Yeah. But every day I read about it and I'm just like they're talking about like there being drones currently in use in Palestine where they're identifying whether someone's Hamas or not, and then killing them. And you're like, that's a fucking mess. Like, that's a big mess that's happening. Like, we should have some say in this, maybe.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, well, there's no one elected to do this. This is just tech companies.
Yeah.
And then weapons companies buying from the tech companies. So you're like, whoa, this is like, it probably needs, I understand that like our generation or my generation, your generation have all been about disruption. And it's like, we're going to disrupt and we're not going to play by the rules and we're going to push forward because that's the only thing is more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that it's like a pretty steep bell curve after World War II where people were like, well, we know how bad things can get. And now everyone from that era is dead. So we're now running forward as if everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that whole, weak men, bad times, strong men, good times.
Yeah.
Good times, weak
and
men.
I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness in the world at the moment. I think it's like, I'm definitely trying to tune out of it a lot more.
Dude, I had a conversation with a dude that I went to school with who owns an electrical business in Bunbury. And the past 3 years, I think he's been in it now for like 8 years. But the past 3 years, he's really just like the place to get your electrical work done residentially. I remember I sat down with him and I said to him, like, you're balls deep in business. And at the point, this is like, must be 3 years ago now. He's now my top client, by the way. And this is kind of the conversation that got me on board with him and him on board with me. And I remember asking him in the middle of the conversation, because we're talking about, like doing 1% better in this area can increase my, bottom line by X amount. And I'm like, very technical, deep business type conversation. I'm like, are you scared the world's going to end? He goes, I don't fucking have time to think about that. And I remember thinking like, interesting, because I have a lot of property in my mind that goes to what's the world going to do. And now, dude, that's one of those skills I get better at. Yeah.
The thing is, it's one of those things that keeps you online.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You can't really trust
Dude, it's marketing.
Yeah, but it's not in the traditional sense, obviously, but it's like the whole capitalist thing is to like, if you can be glued to your phone and just consuming constantly, then there's a whole lot of money that can be generated from you doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So like all of these things, like the pending fucking AI tech apocalypse, has got us all going, what the fuck? And like today with the Epstein stuff, it's like, what the fuck? I think the whole thing is like, they're like, well, at this point we can make it as absurd as we like.
Yeah, and they'll lap it
and they'll just keep like,
even if they know it's not real, they'll still lap it up.
Yeah, well, that's the problem now. Is like you're very unsure what's real, and I don't think that many people are being tricked by AI videos. Like you see it and you're like, whatever, that's crazy. Like you see some crazy shit and you go, well, that's probably AI.
Dude, not like I might be wrong in my assumption in this, but not one yet.
Yeah,
not one has caught me out. I'm 32.
I don't know the cat on the fucking alligators.
No.
I've been watching. I'm like,
you're talking about the diving fucking...
Not the diving cat.
I thought that shit was real.
But nah, it's weird, man. Like I keep an eye on that sort of stuff a fair bit, and I'm trying to not, because it's pointless. It just makes you a bit of a downer. Like I'll just listen to like all the things that are going on in the world, and like I listen to like breaking points and like a few different media sources that seem to be a little bit more
neutral rather than leaning.
Yeah, it's like pretty neutral, or at least like two-sided.
Yeah,
in the same format. And yeah, you feel like you've got a grip on things, but at the end of the day, I think that's probably a lot of that is just like entertainment as you get older.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't care about what like, I couldn't give a shit about Kai Cenat or speed. There's no football on. So maybe I'm like looking at the train wreck that is American politics and being like, yeah, it gives you a little bit of a horror movie thing as well, where it's suspenseful. You go, oh shit. Eh?
You don't have kids.
No, exactly.
That's meant to be the thing. Like I've come from being like, fuck getting married, fuck having kids, like 8 years with a vasectomy, just living.
You're the youngest person ever to get a vasectomy?
Second youngest after Ari Shafir. But yeah, like I fully went away from it. And then once I started to, I remember like, I've told the story a bunch on the pod, but it still gets me. I was watching 90 Day Fiancé, ripped, like so stoned. And I was sitting there watching these fucking losers who are obviously in horrible relationships and have the gall to put themselves on a reality TV show thinking, do you know the concept behind 90 Day Fiancé?
I'd say it's in the title.
90 Day Fiancé, there's a K1 visa where an American...
Holy shit.
If they have a potential spouse from another country, the spouse can move to America with a K1 visa with the intention of getting married within 90 days. Now, if you've been living overseas as an American for 10 years, you met someone, you're in love, you're like, yep, we're going to move to America. Obviously, if we get married, you can then stay legally. Makes sense. But if you go on holiday to Zimbabwe and fuck the pool boy and fall in love, and then let's say you get pregnant and you're like, no, he's coming here, he's coming to America, we're going to do the thing. That's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, which is entertainment, right?
Let's record it. Let's track these people before the 90 days is one series, the 90 days, after the 90 days, and there's seasons on seasons on seasons. And it's awesome because you're watching this beautiful, slow collapse of this shitty building that you knew was going to collapse, and you want it to collapse, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's interesting. And there's all these like obvious conversations where it's like, oh, I don't know how he's going to go being away from his family, and then you find out he hasn't told his family that he's leaving to live in America.
They're all compelling, dude.
And it's...
I try and steer away from them because I one of them will grab me every now and then, and I'm just like, oh, I just fucking...
Bro, 2.5 minutes of maths and I'm in. So
I can't do it.
I can't be in the same room.
Yeah.
And if it isn't the storyline, it's the boobs and it's the this.
It's the rage bait that gets me as well, where I'm like, why do people watch this? But fortunately, I've never got into any of those. I did watch one that was fucking fascinating. It was selling... It wasn't... I think it was like the New York version of Selling Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like a bunch of women. It was just the worst fucking presentation of women. Like, it was really bad. It was like they were all selling houses and they were all sort of influencers, and they were the most unprofessional bunch of fucking women I've ever met.
Yeah.
They were constantly like crying and screaming at each other and having little internal beefs, and then the girl that was in charge of the team was like deeply insecure and was like, no one thinks I have the right to be here or that I slept my way to the top. And it was like, no one fucking thinks that. That's in your head.
Dude.
And then they're all fucking hate each other. And I was watching it with my girlfriend and I was like, this is like damaging to the perception of women. Like, it's really fucked up that like, I know women in business and they're not like this. And this is the most amped up version of it. And, like it was compelling because they were just kind of fucking arguing constantly with each other and it was just chaos.
Dude, this is the thing. Like I like almost don't let my chick watch particular shows. Like some things it's like I can't stop you from watching
I don't let my chick watch shows.
Dude, like the yacht one? Where it's the reality show and they're on yachts and there's stewardess and all that?
I don't know what I have not.
Beyond deck or something.
Okay, below deck.
Below deck, that's it. It's like that's the fucking cusp for me, right? If it gets any more outlandish than that, you gotta go weed the garden or something. You got to do a real activity. Because the problem is, as much as you know it's entertainment, you're exposing yourself to stupidity, and it will ingrain in some sort of way into you.
Nah, you got to let people do it, dude.
Look, I'm not saying I don't let her do it. What I'm saying is like I heavily recommend. Like the reason, like I'll get 5, 6, 7 posts in, I'm like, you need to fucking get back to life.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is
Because
like
if not, you're
everyone's
just the guy
got their
doing
something.
it, you know?
Like reality TV, like behind me, a bunch of music equipment, right? That's just like my autistic train set.
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly fiddling with it, rewiring it, fixing things, doing stuff. And that's fun to me. Like I put on a podcast, I do that, my brain switches off. I have the myth of having been productive, where realistically all I've done is just like pull everything apart and put it back together again.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed that like women in my life in the past, they like to switch off and just put on garbage TV.
Yeah, but there's
garbage. But it doesn't. I think it seeps into their psyche as much as playing GTA 5 seeps into ours.
Dude,
they feel gross about it the same way that, you know, like if you've just done like 6 hours on fucking GTA or Fortnite or FIFA or something, and you're just like, oh my God, like, well, I'm terrible. Like that's how they feel after like 9 seasons of fucking made in Chelsea or whatever it is.
We've taken a bit of a turn on this, and I'm not going to die on this hill, but I just want to like clarify. There is mind-numbing, like there's watching The Office for the 40th time, front to back.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't crush my soul. It creates a safe space for my mind to go, that whole show happens in 4 walls with the same 10 people. And that to me is like, I don't have to worry about text messages. I have to worry about the thought of my dad one day dying. There's all these things that I don't have to worry about because I can just watch Robert California say things that are outlandish.
Yeah.
I love that. When it's like you're watching season 59 of the Kardashians and Kim's upset about something that is not at all relatable to our experience and realistically isn't even relatable to her experience, that is soul destroying. That is at a foundational level so fucking damaging to think that not only does that exist, but people live with the illusion that it might be able to exist in their life. It's not real, cousin.
I don't know that people believe that it could exist in their life.
You think they're watching it the same way they think that Play School is not real?
I don't know. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt because I know some intelligent people that in their downtime they do that. And like, don't get me wrong, I agree. I agree in the theory of it. That's why I don't watch it because I'm like, there's no value to be brought to me. But the more I lift under the covers and look at those things, sometimes I'm like, fuck. I understand how they get you. But it's only the same as mindlessly scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's the same as keeping up with the fucking Epstein case. Like it's literally...
Yeah, that's a real life thing.
It's all just completely irrelevant to your everyday existence, but somehow takes up real estate in your mind. And I think that there's something that needs to be in there. Yeah. Like there's... You know, like you said before, you got your mate and he's like, I'm too busy to think about that shit. Like an idle mind can be filled with bullshit.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you're like really busy, you're like, oh man, I hope the world doesn't end, but I don't have time to fucking sit around listening and thinking and pondering on these things.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe, and you know.
Maybe the world just has too much spare time now.
For sure. In between buying fucking new shoes and what events am I going to say that I'm going to on the weekend and then pull out the last minute? There's a lot of space in between that.
Exactly.
And then when I'm not at the event, how am I going to spend my money? Well, I've got to do it online. I think the contradiction here is, and I didn't finish my story, is that I watched 90 Day Fiancé, right? So fuck me. But I remember sitting there like ripped, and it's important that you understand that I was like deep in that, like pondering my fucking like, can I feel myself sitting on the couch right now? I was that high. I'm looking at these people who obviously shouldn't get married. And I'm thinking, well, they shouldn't get married because this, and this. If anyone was going to get married, I'm like going through my list of friends. I'm like, they could probably work that out. Oh, these guys don't really communicate that well. These guys are obviously a bad match for each other. You know, all these different, and not saying that all of my friends are fucking bad relationships, but I was like, me and Riz should get married, because I fully, like, I have ironed out any possibility of having any space emotionally for any other female the same way that I feel for this girl. I reckon if I was to ever get married, fuck, it would be Riz. I'm like going through, you're pressure testing it, right? And it was like, it switched. And then the next day I called Dad and I was like, I'm going to ask Riz to marry me. You know, not like I'm thinking about it or what do you think? It's like, I'm telling you I'm going to do it. What's your reaction? And he's like, yeah, checks out. And I was like, shit, all right. And I told Mum and I was like, Mum, I'm thinking. She's like, oh, fucking yeah, I like that idea. That's good. So I'm like, all right, cool. The two major influences in my life. I wish I could ask Riz as well and see what she thinks, but kind of ruins the thing. And dude, I was living, you know, on pushing coins together to buy coffee twice a week. That's how much money I was making. And I went and put an outrageous ring on lay-by and took 6 months to pay it off. And like between the day of paying it off and asking her to marry me was like a fucking burning a hole in my pocket, you know? And it was like as soon as I knew. And like all these years of confirming like, I'm not that guy. I'm going to push against the idea that it's even a fucking thing that anyone should do, let alone me, and da-da-da-da-da. And then like once I put all the pieces together, it's like actually, you know, like I'm going to build a business and it's going to work. And at that point it wasn't working. I just got out of a caravan and into a rental. And I was like, all right, I know I'm not going to quit. I know I'm not going to fail. And there was a day quite early on that I said to Riz, I'm like, I'm out of money and I need you to support me. Every dollar that I make, I'm going to put back into the business, but I need you to buy groceries. I need you to pay for fuel. I need you to do everything besides the business. But I promise you, if it doesn't work, I'll pay you back. And if it does work, I'll pay you back 100x. And she didn't hesitate. She's like, yeah, go for it. Like living in a caravan. She said, go for it. And it's like, all right, that is my foundation. And every shitty situation that we had that we talked through and we built on it and we made it work. And, you know, one by one, you unfollow all of the potential leads on Instagram. One by one, you stop leaving that space for females to feel like they're a little bit more comfortable with you than what they should be. You know, it's like I got to a point where I'm like, it's fucking, if not, then why the fuck else am I doing all this? Yeah. You know, and I understood what it meant. And then I was like, cool, I put my balls to the wall in business and this is more important than business. I put my balls to the wall in this. Yeah. And then once I made that, then it's like, if I was going to have a kid with anyone, it'd be with my wife.
Yeah, for real.
And that's what started. It's like, fuck, well, I got to get a reversal. We're going to have to get a house. We're going to get a car that can put a cart. So you've got to do all these things. Rah, rah. And it's like, dude, now I have a fucking purpose.
And now you're not going to run for mayor of Bunbury.
Fuck no.
This is exactly, I say, I foretold your future.
It's all going to be taken away from
I was like, I was like, life comes fast.
But dude, this is the thing. Like,
but like, it's not like it's a bad thing.
No.
It's a fucking great thing.
The cool part about it is that like everyone, and like even this year I've had pretty significant names in Bunbury come on the podcast and say, you're next in line. You, this person need to go on council. You need to be a group. You need to go on. You need to do this for 4 years. Whole plan mapped out for me. It's like, brother, I got some runs on my board that I need to achieve. Mm-hmm. And once that's done, you got me. You fucking got me. But right now, I'm no value because I've got 2 legs in this pond over here and you're asking for 1 finger in a pie over there. It doesn't work, you know? And I'll be more valuable in 10 years when I've got the business happening. I've got the family happening. I understand myself a bit better. I've, you know, had the world taken away from me a little bit and I appreciate it in a different way. Then it makes sense.
It's good, dude. You got direction.
And this is the thing. Now you get to a point where it's like, right, my business keeps me too busy to worry about the Kardashians or the whatever. And it's like, I'm making space for the kids to then feel that like, I don't, as long as I wake up and everyone's happy and healthy and progressing and moving forward, the world can do whatever it wants. Because until it arrives at my front door, which is also in its own way, probably not a great thing, but until then, why the fuck would I worry about it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's realistically, like, as an individual, that's probably the best philosophy. It's like I think the idea is that everyone wants to, I don't know, like there's benefit in like protest and stuff, and there's benefit in people like really giving themselves to these things, but I think it's just so hard to decipher what the fuck is going on and what's real and what's not and what you can have an influence on. As you said, you just kind of got to let the world do its thing. But the other thing is, if you don't have your eye on the prize, like if you're not really, like buying a house, for example, if you're not like really on top of looking at what the fees and charges are and the changes in X, Y, and Z, everyone just fucks you. It's fucking insane. Like it really fucked with my faith in humanity, like how poorly in the last 15 years, every institution seems to be going out of their way to fuck you over.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that's kind of at your doorstep. And then you need to kind of like figure out a little bit of an exit strategy from certain things.
Yeah.
It's very odd though. It's like, that's become like a little bit more of a realization where you're like, everything feels a bit more predatory now. Even the sense that you need to pay a subscription for every product that you use.
Bro. Everything.
And it's like, I don't need that. Like I was pretty happy when I could just buy like Adobe.
I was gonna say when you're running off fucking ripped.
When I was pretty happy when I was using a burnt Adobe.
Yeah, dude. I still run the 50% off every 12 months. Hey.
Oh, for real. I told everyone about that, dude. I took a chunk out of their bottom line on that.
Yeah, dude.
The funniest thing was I spoke at an Adobe event years ago, big one, and I was invited to speak there, and I was showing stuff on my computer, and I was like waiting for. There used to be this little program called Little Snitch.
Yeah.
That you had to get when you bought cracked. Oh, when you downloaded cracked things, and it would basically just sit there and like change the clock of that program so that it thought that you were only ever using it for 5 minutes.
Wow.
So every time it tried to connect to the server to find out if you were like proper.
That's fucking crazy.
And I was talking to this Adobe event, and I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it to pop up because it used to pop up all the time.
Yeah.
But it's all right. I use legitimate Adobe now because it's too hard to do anything else.
I remember you floated the concept that Adobe, so they now record all of they track everything that you do, and it's like that will eventually turn into an automated program that you feed it an idea and then but dude, even generative AI in Photoshop sucks.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It takes ages. It gives you 3 shit options. Every option is worse than the one before it. You know, like...
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, there's people out there that are trying to like... It's just charlatans, man. Like the reality is that it's not up to scratch to be able to do anyone's creative job for them. Like there's programs that are like the podcast cutting one, which as I said before, there's no AI in that at all. It's just a fucking program. It's like an extension plugin. They just call it AI in the same way that everything was a... remember there was an era where everything, they just put an I in front of everything?
Yeah.
You have like...
It made it tech.
Yeah, and you were just like, well, it's a fucking dry cleaners.
Yeah.
Like there's a strata company near my building that's called iFresh Strata. It's like, the fuck does that mean? But that's kind of what is happening with AI now. Like everyone's just going like, yeah, this is AI. It's like, no, it's just tech.
Yeah.
Like some of them are plugged in, but the issue with Adobe and the thing that's happened with Adobe that's really bad is that they changed their terms and conditions. And basically what they did was they said, people got really freaked out because they were like, Adobe's going to own everything that you create in the program. But that's not the truth. It's worded weirdly, but basically what it does is it does track all of the data of basically what you're doing while you're using the program.
The process you're using, yeah.
And it's just holding those data points so that when it can plug into an AI and sort it, it can figure out a way to go, hey, I need... Because the reason I figured this out, because I was talking to ChatGPT to try and figure out if I could make it do it for me.
Yeah, right.
So... And this is how I realized.
What, to track your process?
So I was like, okay, well, what I want to do is I will talk to you because I talk to it, and I will put on a screen recording device that will feed to you, and I want you to bring in all the data of everything that I'm saying because I would just talk it through the way that I was building a brand. So I've had a chat with the client and they want me to name the business and they want me to do this and that. And then I thought, if I can train a model on my everyday shit, I should be able to get it to a point where I go, this is the communication that I had, where I can explain the project, what the client needs and what I do. And it can basically create it as if it's me.
Yeah.
by following processes that I didn't even realize that I do, that it's picked up on. And it was like, yeah, that's definitely like something that we would be able to do in the future. But at the moment, the technology's not there. This is what ChatGPT was saying to me. And I was like, oh shit, that's what the new Adobe terms are about. And I went through the terms with ChatGPT and it was like, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So
right, so it's a massive data scrape.
Yeah, well, what they're doing is that at the moment they're a company that sells a product, right?
Yeah.
And that product is bought by, it used to be just graphic designers and photographers. And then suddenly everyone became a bit of a photographer and a bit of a graphic designer. So it goes out from there. And then they buy up all the other companies. So there's video in there now.
Yep.
There's all this. So suddenly their market, the people that are using their product gets bigger. And then it's like, okay, well now everyone's a content creator. So that's bigger. But there's all these other little programs coming in. So what they want to be is something that every single person needs and wants. And the way that you could do that is by going, okay, instead of asking a graphic designer to do something for you, just ask Adobe and it will do it.
Yeah.
And even further to that, you could say, hey, Adobe, I really like this whole thing that Scott Mellor does. And Adobe will go, okay, well, we've actually got all of the data from him using our program because every graphic designer in the world's using it.
Yeah.
And then they can go, well, we can actually do exactly what he does with the right input. So they're trying to remove their current market of users. They are trying to get rid of.
So to replace it with everyone else. Wow. I can't imagine anyone saying I like Jake Kerr's style in Adobe Illustrator. Can you replicate a year 6 level of fucking design skills, please?
It is funny though. I mean, it's like, if you think about that, like, I don't think it's there yet. And I do think that there is an intangible in a lot of, certainly in what I do and in what a lot of people do, where it's like you're giving some form of human connection through the process and there's some emotional value in the thing that someone sees that connects with the person, and then they believe the product, and then the product is able to infiltrate their life.
Yeah.
So I do think that there is still, like, completely electronic music didn't take over music played on a guitar.
Yeah.
They merged to some degree, but there still needs to be a person involved for it to make sense to someone. Unless it's just like that, unless it's just purely industry and people don't want any like creative thought or beauty. I mean, like, look around you. Like, when was the last time a new building was put up that was anything other than 4 fucking pieces of concrete covered in glass? Like, we aren't producing beautiful things anymore. We are just producing efficiency, and people are getting really sad. Like, it fucking seems that way.
Yeah, it's like I feel like we touched on this a little bit at the start, the very like natural, intuitive hunger for beauty is slowly being drowned by a saturation of just modernism.
Yeah,
right?
just pure efficiency.
You forget that like beauty exists because like even like I went for a ride as soon as I got here, went for a ride, looked around, and it's like there's a couple like old churches and shit where you're like, this is in the middle of Perth. Like, that's unreal. It's actually, these are amazing. You sit there, like, I took a photo of one. I'm like, what am I taking a photo of? It's like, it's different. That's what I'm taking a photo of. You know, because you have that conversation. Like, am I taking this just for content? Am I a piece of shit? What am I doing? You know? But then it's like, no, this is actually like super, I'm taking a photo of this because this isn't what I expected, you know? And then when you think about making something yourself, I know that like, you know, every now and then I try and make stuff for BLXCK. BLXCK is entirely a passion project as far as a brand is concerned. And like, I immediately have to go, like, I'm not just going to put something in the middle of the front of the t-shirt and something in the middle of the back of the t-shirt because that's how shirts are. It's like, you really have to start from, well, what would be the craziest thing? What would be the thing that I'd love the most? You like have all these ideas and sort of mood board it and like refine it in from there. And it's like, it's not an exercise in making a shirt. It's an exercise in reminding yourself that you don't have to do what has been done over and over because that's the way it's been done, you know?
Especially when it comes to fashion, it's like it's a representation of an idea. Like good design has never been something that really works on clothing. Like you buy an art print for your wall, but you wouldn't wear it on a t-shirt.
Right.
Like fashion's more tribal for me. Like I've been involved in it in one way or another for my whole career.
Yep.
And it's about putting something on and saying this, I
what I belong
co-sign
to. Yeah.
this, or I hope they accept me for wearing it.
Yep.
And it's like, that's why, like, think about it, like Nike, Umbro, Adidas, fucking Street X, whatever, like Butter. It's all, there's a certain, especially when it comes to streetwear, there's a certain thing where it's like, there is irony baked into it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this kind of looks a bit fucked. I'm going to wear it because I don't care, but I also will spend $100 on this t-shirt.
Yeah.
So like fashion is a very odd thing. It's like it doesn't, it's more about like freedom of expression within certain guidelines.
Yeah.
And like I think that makes it a little bit different. Like I think that there's, when it comes to things like buildings and technology and stuff like that, like if you go back, if you go to places like Barcelona fell in love with Gaudi, right? And have you ever been?
No.
Man, they gave him so much fucking. He was an artist, but he was obviously like some form of an architect or something. I don't know the full thing, so shoot me. But basically, he's just left this incredible mark on this city, and they've really held on to it.
Yep.
So like there's these buildings that look like they're kind of like from The Nightmare Before Christmas. They look like they're kind of made out of wax. There's there's the I'm pretty sure he did the Sagrada de Familia, the big cathedral there is one of the most incredible things. You really feel something when you're in there.
Yeah.
It feels alien like. There's a Parc de Güell, I think, which is up in the whole of Barcelona kind of slopes down to the ocean.
Yep.
And the top part, there's this incredible park, and it's all him. And like, I'm not even that strongly a fan of his stuff, but just the amazement of being there and seeing like how much he made a mark on this city. And it was like, it gave this city so much character. And then I work here in the city, and this is a heritage listed building, so there's some like character to it, which is quite nice. But
yeah,
you just look around and everything just goes up, and it's fucking, it's a glass box, and another glass box, and another glass box, and another glass box, and there's no inspiration behind any of it. And then every now and then they're like public artworks, and they put a fucking cactus in the middle of the thing, and everyone goes, "That's kind of shit," and you know, and other people probably appreciate it, and they're like, it's got a Twitter account. They just do fucking weird shit to try and appease people. It's like, how about having some like pride in making this city into like a visually impressive thing, rather than just being, because I think like we were saying before, like when it comes to the worst case scenario, my fear with it is that everything is just being built because they know, if you want to future-proof it, the best way is to probably go, this could probably be a server farm.
Right.
And everything, and all these buildings will just be fucking server farms.
Black out the windows, put air cons in.
They certainly fucking look like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think obviously what's the intention, direction, what's the first thing of anything, the mission? Like when the goal is to go, how do we create a skyscraper that has as many $750,000 units in it, and then how do we make that for heaps less than what we're going to make off it?
Mm-hmm.
When that's the goal, that's when you get entire mediocrity when it comes to an aesthetic building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy who goes like, you know, it's probably fucking Escalante or someone who goes like, I just want it to be sick. I want there to be a waterfall over the front door. I want all this, but at the same time, I also don't want to share it.
Yeah, but how much taste do rich people have? Like the thing is that like like art is meant to subvert and it's meant to like cause a conversation, and not everyone's going to like it or love it. But then over time, it becomes something that people really like connect to. Right. That's why like New York is a beautiful city. Like London, there's really beautiful parts of London, and then it's contrasted with really horrible like same thing, glass fucking architecture. Yeah. But everyone has a voice now because because the town square is in your pocket all the time. So I think it's kind of hard to. It requires like a government or a ruling body that goes, we fucking like this, and you're gonna take it.
Yeah. And
people can be like, this is fucking bullshit. We don't like this, but it's like that's why like Rome is so beautiful, and like all of the Renaissance paintings that exist. It's funny because you grow up thinking that Renaissance paintings are like paintings of Jesus and the Final Supper and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, they were painted in like 1900 or when, so it was like, that was still 1900 years after it was alleged to have happened.
Yeah.
So it's just
and also
someone's interpretation of it 1800 years later, however long it is. And, but there was a ruling class that was so dead set on how much they loved paintings and religion that now the world has all of that, and we get to go and walk into these incredibly opulent things, and people could be like, why did they spend so much money on that when there's people dying in the street and stuff? And it's like, well, we fucking have it now, and it's inspiring. And I feel like places like this, it's not that at all. Same with Melbourne. Melbourne was I used to go to Melbourne when I was in my 20s and like on tour with bands and stuff. And I was like, whoa, man, this place fucking is alive. Like there's graffiti on the walls, and there's fucking, there's little hole in the wall bars, and there's all these different places to eat. And there's these like, like there's no FPOS at this place, and you just fucking beers clearly have come out of a 6-pack they bought from Woolies and stuff. And I loved it. There was a grittiness to it, and there was a realness to it. And then I go back there now, and there's 19 JB Hi-Fis in like a fucking city block, and everyone's been squeezed out because they locked them up for 2 years. Like everyone's been squeezed out of those small businesses, and there is fucking zero culture there except for the people that went through the last collective 7 or 8 years together.
And they're also fucking damaged because of it.
Yeah, like it's people doing their thing, but like I think that there's probably a lot of distrust in that city, and there's probably like a good camaraderie with each other, and I think that it will come back. But the problem is that like those kind of like independent, small, for the love of the game places, people don't really do anymore because I don't think you can survive on them like you could.
I think, by the way, this is sort of going back to my thing of cycles. Like there is a cycle that we are living within ourselves that happen in a microcosm, expanded right out to we are also part of a greater life cycle that you and I are part of a generation or generations or a part of a fucking millennia, part of it. Like it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And the thing that I thought about just before when you said there were people dying in the street and they still focused on art. There were people dying in the street before art, and there are people dying in the street now. Mm-hmm. It's a cycle. And it's like that thing of...
Well, it's a constant.
Right.
But not everything is connected to everything else.
No. I'm getting too deep in my fucking mind pictures. I think I was going to make something that's not going to age well on a recorded conversation. I think there's like... You try and go, what is the noise now that is existing that is stopping us from doing that? And you go like, well, there's this capitalist mentality that like we're trying to, the big businesses are getting bigger because they're good at the capitalist thing. And as they get bigger, there's only so much space. As they get bigger, the small guys got to pop. And that's what we saw, right? And then you go, well, what's happening with that? Well, the art is happening with that. The creativity is happening with it. The community is happening with that. These are all things that we don't want to see go. But we're also now in a catch-22 where there's only so many places we can buy mandarins. It's like, I really want a fucking Barcelona here, of course. I want my kids to have that. I want to be able to, on Sunday afternoon, like, fuck it, we make a picnic basket. We're going to do this. We're leaving our phones at home. It sounds great, doesn't it? But at the same time, to have that, I need to be able to have a place where I can buy mandarins from and have a choice of like 12 different spots. But I know the correlation isn't directly there, but it's the same.
But you don't need that.
You don't need it. But
the thing is, you don't need it at all. Like, we don't need fucking 9 24-hour IGAs within driving distance from here.
What I'm saying is, you don't need 12 places to buy mandarins, but when there is 12 places to buy mandarins, there is more space for art. Because there's only one place to buy mandarins, that's because Coles and Woolworths are so fucking big that the other 11 opportunities don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because of that is the same reason that we have glass boxes and we don't have beautiful churches.
Yeah, because it's a strangling of, like, there's not a lot of room for culture in commerce, really.
Right.
Which is why they're always trying to force feed culture down your throat.
So this is where it links back, right?
Like Bank West having the gay flag on their ATM machines, or ANZ, or name any bank.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not a financial institution making it.
What does it have to do with interest rates?
No, but that's not a financial institution like going, we're nice people.
Yeah.
It's just their way of going, hey, this is in the conversation at the moment. We're on the right side of this. Come and get a predatory loan from us.
Yeah.
Gay people. Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy. It's crazy. Like, you're saying before, like, everything is marketing. Like, that's the problem. Is like, banks need to have some fucking social awareness when it comes to people's sexual rights or people's, cultural rights, but they have the same one size fits all, like, predatory lending system for everyone. So it's like, oh, you're just the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Mm. Yeah, if it was really that important to you, would gay people get a better interest rate on a home loan?
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like, I think it's my issue with it is that the majority, and this is my issue with being involved in the industry that I'm in, and I do have to try, like, I have to kind of quantify it sometimes, or like, what's the word, like, come to terms with it sometimes, because marketing is intrusive. It's very fucking intrusive, and it's just, it's because it's a capitalist system. We're all sold it as like, this is just the way it is. This is how it has to be. This is what you've got to do. And it's like, it's not a nice thing to, when you realize how much a part of it you are. And then the other thing is that everything now, like, culturally, is to, everyone should be on the internet fucking, even doing this now, like, spouting our opinions on this. Like, you got to be in it to win it. Everyone should have a voice. Everyone should have this and that. And it's like, that's great. But but not everyone has to have, like, a massive audience.
Yeah.
And we all get sucked into this thing of, like, that's just another normal person that has a massive audience, so it could be me too.
Yeah.
And then we're all chasing this, like, idea of fame in some way, I think.
Yeah, but I didn't, like, when I was 10 years old skating at the rink, I didn't do it to be one day exceptionally great at doing things on skates. I did it because it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, because it grabbed you. Did you not have, like, I'm going to be in the Olympics, or?
I organically got picked up by the speed skating coach in a general session and said, you should do speed skating. I really just rocked up for the first, like, 4 years and, like, state champion, national champion. Very, like, I just knew how to move on skates. And, like, got picked, like, going to nationals and Oceanas and worlds was a bit of a, like, I never did it because I wanted to be the best. Did it because I was good at it and I got results over and over and over. And then once it got to a point where I was like, I want to be the best. And I used what do you call it when you get money? Like what's it called? Like, it was like a fucking scholarship sort of thing. I used that to go to Europe and then joined a team and did a year in Europe, like, doing the circuit where you can race like 3 times a week. Whereas in Australia, you race like 6 times a year. And that's when it turned into, like, I want to be the best in the world. And, like, in that year, I went from, like, I love skating to this is a fucking job and this sucks.
Yeah.
And when I came back,
what a flaw in the human psyche.
Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts. And, like, this is...
Hey, hold that thought. I got to piss so bad. It's just come on too quickly. We're back. I've pissed. I'm sorry.
What's are we picking up where we left off? Because I have another question if we're not.
Hit me.
What's your problem to problem solve time like?
I'd say it's pretty quick. Like I'm pretty quick to move when there's an issue. But as we were saying, we were just saying off camera, like I went through a whole situation where I had I bought an apartment that I was living in, and there was just a bunch of nightmares going on with Homes West next door and like a lot of fucking drama. And when that was going on, I was dealing with like day-to-day issues. So my day-to-day problems, I would be pretty quick to act and like rectify the situation. But over a long enough period of time, I was still consumed by what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't have like I didn't zoom out and say, what do I really need to do here? I just like, let's get through each day. So I think sometimes when it comes to problems, like you're constantly solving minor problems in every facet of your life all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm trying now to be a little bit more zoomed out, like be like, I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling fucking burnt out by something, or just my general demeanor isn't good. And then trying to go, well, rather than it being like, oh, today's a shitty day, or someone just did this and that's why I'm having a bad day, zooming out and going, I probably need I need to make some adjustments, some larger scale adjustments.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was definitely way more like impulsive, and I would be like, things aren't working. Like in relationships, I'd be like, this relationship, I'm not happy. She's not happy. I don't know what's going on. I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
And then you realize that like that actually causes, unless you're really going, that really causes just so many more problems further down the line.
Yeah, because it's like sow seeds of doubt.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make for a safe thing. So like these days, I think when I'm building the blocks of things, I'm trying to be a little bit more thoughtful with it, which seems easier these days. It definitely seems easier. I'm way less angry. I'm way more chilled out than I.
Yeah, I think there's a certain element of delayed gratification in there as well.
Yeah, I'm still not good with that. I'm still not good with delayed gratification. I don't know if it's like an ADHD thing.
I'm heavy on it. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, purely because I think so many instances of things, like I'm starting to get really good rewards now that I have struggled for 5 years in business, and sometimes it is just like someone calls up, hey, I've got this idea, 20 minutes later, I've got a 50% deposit, we've got a project in the bank, and I'm going to make X amount out of it. Well, that only comes because I made all the fuck ups to get to here.
Yeah.
And while I was making those fuck ups, I was happy to make them. I'm like, yep, I'm doing this. I'm not living in a caravan anymore. Now I'm not in a rental. Now I'm not driving a piece of shit. You know what I mean? So it's like
that's the thing. I think when you do start doing the building blocks thing and it's working for you, you're like, oh yeah, this is the way to do it. I found it with getting fit. Like when my dad died and I went through like a few years of like really tough times. I just didn't deal with it. I wouldn't frame it as saying I didn't deal with it well, but like it just rocked me in a way that I hadn't really anticipated. And I think my life, as we were talking about earlier, I think my life was like, there was a lot of really big changes going on in my life all at once, and I didn't realize, and they all came to a head under that banner. And it was hard to figure out whether those, it was hard to identify them individually. It was just like, oh, everything is fucked.
Yeah.
And
you're actually not even case by case dealing with things. You're sort of too zoomed out and going like, oh, the house is on fire.
Yeah, well, you can't. It's just a vibe. You're just like, everything's fucked. And then you can look at the one big thing and go, it's because of that. But then you realize that it's a whole multitude of things, because you stop dealing with things individually when there's a major crisis and they all pile up anyway. And you're just like, oh, well, I can deal with that later. I can deal with that later.
Yeah.
And then it all just comes as one giant snowball. But I'd gotten the big thing that happened for me was like I stopped getting endorphins. So I was working out and doing the things that I would normally do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting any positive energy from it. And I was like, oh man, there's something broken inside me. This is really bad. And so I kind of fell off that for a while and just day to day, try and get through the day. And my health suffered for it because I was like not eating well. I was oversleeping. I was like almost insomniac, and then I'd sleep like all day, just like all the key points of depression.
Yeah.
And then, it kind of came to a head because Josh, the reason we started the podcast was because it was Josh's way to just try and like fucking connect with me in some way, because I was kind of pushing everyone away. And then I found from doing the podcast, I was talking a lot about like just the shit that was in my head was coming out. There was a place to do that, which was like therapy to me. But then there was a moment where I was like, I've never been suicidal, but I'd lost a couple of friends to suicide, and I realized that they hadn't, that when I knew them, because even though I still knew them quite well, they weren't in my day-to-day, when I knew them, I hadn't considered that they would be the people that would do that. And I was like, and I knew them really well.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, by that logic, even though I know that I'm heavily depressed.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there is a gap between where I'm at now and suicide. And it's the most likely way for a dude to die. So I was like, it feels like it's trending down, and I don't know what that gap is, and I don't know how much you can control it.
Have you had like a genuine suicidal thought in your life?
Nah.
Interesting.
No, I definitely had, I definitely had an internal monologue saying to do that.
Yeah.
But I could recognize it, and I was like...
Did you find that it was in a particular tone?
Yeah. It was definitely aggressive.
Like aggressive, dark, negative?
Yeah. It was just like... And it's obviously not a real voice. It's just an overwhelming feeling. Yeah. I could feel it knocking on the door. And I remember I wrote a lot of stuff down, and there was, I'd gone through a breakup. I went through a very, very fucking like big thing that happened, and on the tail end of it, everything just really crumbled. And I was trying to figure out who I was and what I was doing. And I was really worried about that.
Yeah.
And I was desperately speaking pretty honestly on the podcast, because I was like, even though I don't know how much it comes across, but I was like, I was trying to get to, I was trying to figure it out. And I kind of put the microscope on me, because when I was doing therapy at the time, and therapy was exactly the same as the podcast, but it was just with someone I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's just this place for me to just like go and just see what's bouncing around in my head by regurgitating it and seeing what it looked like. But there was a moment where I wasn't sleeping, and fortunately I never turned to drugs. Like, I definitely numb things with weed a little bit, but my relationship with weed is what it is. I'm good with it. And medicinal card and all that, and like relatively responsible with it. But I think, and a lot of people, when they go through those sorts of situations, try and numb it with drugs, and then you still need to overcome it and deal with it, which is incredibly hard. Not to do, but to get to the place where you have the facilities to be able to do that and start to pull yourself up out of the hole. I think a drug addiction and the shame of that and everything that comes with it, I can understand why people go that way. I can empathize with it to some degree. I think it's an incredibly selfish thing to do. But the thing that happened to me is I wasn't sleeping, and I was like writing my manic thoughts down and trying to calm everything down. And I thought, well, look, let's say that it is going that way. I want to, because I don't know what it looks like, because I don't know what the gap looks like.
Yeah.
I want to throw everything I can at the wall to see if I can get myself out of this funk. Because if let's just say in my head that's what's going to happen, it's like, all right, well, I'm going down swinging. I'm going to do everything that I fucking possibly can.
Right.
And I had this, I kind of analyzed back through my life, and I was like, what? Because your life, like your memories are very unreliable. So you think back and you go, I was really, like for me, I was like, I was really happy when I first started putting out music and I had all this attention and X, Y, and Z was going on. And I was like, hang on a second. I was looking back on that. I was like, I wasn't happy then. Like I was going through a bad time relationship wise. I was fucking stressed out about this. And then, so I dug a little bit deeper and I was like, the times that I was, that I look back fondly on were times where I had gotten quite fit, because I don't have a very good self-talk. It's much better now, but when I was younger, it was really bad. And when you're in good shape and you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're in good shape, like that you're happy with, you know, like where you're like, I've really fucking put the work in and I'm looking good.
Yeah.
You feel better. And there's nowhere for negativity to live in that moment where you go, no, I'm not a piece of shit because I am.
Because I have this.
Because I'm showing up and I'm fucking doing this and this is hard.
Yeah.
And I'd been relatively fit for most of my time, and then I'd have like a knee injury, and then I'd be unfit for like a year or so, and then I'd come back. And in this depression, I'd gotten back to like just being out of shape and I'm fit. And I thought, well, let's just throw all the eggs at that and just see if that works.
Yep.
Because I was just looking for a jump start. I was looking for a spark. Like I just felt like my car was on the side of the road. I was inside. I was like, do I get out and walk? Do I call a tow truck? Like I didn't know. Yeah. I just needed something. I was paralyzed. So I went online and I found one of those fucking online personal trainer things, which I would have always like laughed at. And it was like £400 a month, 400 UK. So it was enough that I would fucking do it.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to waste that money.
Yeah.
And the deal was that this guy was in the UK as part of like a bigger company, and I just basically told him, at an interview with him, told him about myself, and he set up like a diet for me. And it wasn't, I told him what I was like. I was like, I'm a simple person. Like I can pretty much eat the same thing every day if you give that to me. I don't need like X, Y, and Z. And I got super fit in the space of about 7 months.
Yeah.
And it gave me the mental clarity to start to unpick and unpack things, because not everything was, my life just felt like it was a lot of really, like it was a lot of letters that were screwed up, letters and bills and checks and all these things that were all screwed up into balls and thrown into a drawer. And I just didn't know how to fucking open the drawer.
Where to start.
Yeah. So that gave me like a little bit of, it went from a standing stop to a little bit of momentum. And then I was like, all right, cool. That's a non-negotiable. Like that needs to be a part of my life. And it wasn't insane. It wasn't crazy hard. It was just like do 10,000 steps a day, go to the gym 5 times a week, only eat this stuff. And the stuff was super simple. It wasn't like, it was stuff I would just go and buy meat from the butchers and rice and greens, and I would have like, I'd just eat the same thing every day. So that was the best. I was searching for something, I think. And at that time, like I hadn't really done psychedelics before. So I tried that.
Dangerous time to do psychedelics.
Yeah, it was, but it was more dangerous to not, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like there was a timer, and like I didn't know what, like I knew the end was bad, but I didn't know what it would be. And I refused to go down that because I've got a lot of people that love me. And also like I wasn't in my own head. I wasn't like, I'm not going to do that. But I felt like I was just sliding into something where there was a version of me that would end up doing that I didn't know yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it scared me because you can sit there and be like, I'm not the sort of person that would do that. And I was like, yeah, well, neither was fucking my friend.
I don't think you know you're that person until it's happening or too late.
Yeah, I think that would be a horrible surprise to come to.
A lot of people, like, there's one dude in my life that, not a friend or anything, but he's just someone that, like, every time you talk to him, it's peripherally brought up in the conversation. And it's like, you're never going to do it. The dude who's going to hit you doesn't warn you he's going to hit you. You know?
Yeah, but then he might. And then you'll be like,
Dude,
oh,
he
fuck,
fully might.
I was wrong about that.
There's one, like, I have one person who at one point in my life was a friend. The time between then and when he committed suicide, there was a bit of a gap there. But I remember when I found out that he committed suicide, my dad called me and was like, hey, fucking, I was like, the guy with he goes, yeah. And I'm like, really? You wouldn't think, just the opposite. Like, it's not in his vocabulary. And then again, you know, you talk to the people in between you and you're like, yeah, fucking no warning signs whatsoever. And I mean, look, it's a what do you call it when it's not real evidence? It's just based off hearsay and that P word. But yeah, it's not saying that's how everything goes, but it's just like, I've had one suicidal thought my whole life. And it was when I was like 18, and I've always had this crazy internal voice, just goes and goes and goes and goes. And like now I've got a bit older, I can sort of refine it. We talked about this before, you know, your scope as you get older gets narrower and narrower, and then you focus on the things you want, you build on that. And all I've done is train the voice to be quiet when it needs to be quiet and when I want it to scream.
Yep.
Right? But I remember thinking, if this voice doesn't shut the fuck up, I have to kill myself. And it was a jovial tone when I said it to myself. Not that I don't like I can't stand my own voice consistently, you know? And it became like an inside joke with me where it's like, there's a way out. There's a way out. We can stop it if we want. There is a way out. And it was just knowing that it was an option made it almost not a plausible outcome.
Yeah.
But it's like, when I remember where I was driving, I was like, I might need to stop this. I might need to stop this because it's fucking crazy, you know? And then knowing that there was that option, as I said, it sort of took it away from me. But then, you know, trying to actualize like what you know, and I've had friends who have gone through rough times and after the fact, like, fuck man, you don't know how close I was. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Really? You know?
The thing is like, it's very hard to know how close anyone is. I think that there's this romanticized feeling of control, or this romantic feeling of control with suicide. I've spoke to a lot of people about this because it's been something that has been in my life, not with me myself, but like people, it's peripherally been there since I was, like, I think the majority of funerals I've been to have been suicides.
Really?
Yeah, but like, fortunately I've not been to that many funerals, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but I think if you look at the stats, like it's miles ahead of the majority. It's the number one killer of men between like fucking 16 and 45 or something.
Yeah.
Before our bad diet choices take us from heart disease.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this like I've spoke to people that have been very close to me, and I actually think from doing the podcast, it made me a lot more of an empathetic person and a lot better at being able to have conversations and understand people, which is kind of sad that it took that to do that. But I think that, I've had really deep conversations with some people that have been really close to me, and a really common thing that's come up is like when people get into their kind of mid-30s, they have to face the idea that like, yeah, I'm not going to kill myself, which means now I actually have to fucking like take this shit seriously. And it was a surprising thing to hear from a number of people where they were like, and I get this one where it's like, yeah, I'm kind of living my life in a way where there's enough irresponsibility there that I could accidentally die and that will be okay.
Yep.
And then people go, nah, like it's time to grow up. Like I'm actually here. I'm actually participating. Because I think when you do hit levels of like deep depression and those thoughts, not necessarily those thoughts come up, but like the fears of those thoughts coming up or whatever it is, you go, you really sit there and think about it, and you have the foresight to think about it, and you're like, no, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
I got a nephew that idolizes me. I've got nieces. I've got like a mother that it would just, it's not a fucking option.
Yeah.
And like, fortunately, I can't state it enough, it never was an option for me. It was a fear of a mental change that would take me down that road. And I was a little bit untrusting of my own mind, because I was in a bit of a
potential for dark.
Yeah, but I do think as well a big part of that at the time was funny, because I read about it later, and it's something that definitely like amplified it. Was I got switched to Vyvanse.
True.
Yeah, and no one fucking this was quite crazy, because I'd been diagnosed with ADHD. I've been on Dexies, and then I got diagnosed. I got switched to Vyvanse. My brother's on Vyvanse, and he's like, "It's a miracle drug." He's been on Dexies for way longer than me, and he was like, "This is just the best thing." So I went on that, and I slowly started kind of like just getting a pretty major anxiety disorder and shit that I never even knew what that meant. You know, like I was almost like a non-believer in those sorts of things, and then all this just super uncertainty and kind of paranoia and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was reading one night on the forum for on the Reddit for ADHD, and there was a few people that had said the same thing. They're like manic, like suicidal ideations, like all this real bad stuff. So I went back to my psych, and I was like, dude, I got to get off these. Like, I want to switch back to Dexies. And I said, there, mate, the negative side effects are happening to me. And he goes, there is no negative side effects.
Cool, dude. That's the answer.
And I was like, dude, I've literally been reading about them, and that's what I have. And he goes, oh, where did you get your medical degree? And I was like, fuck you, man.
Brother, that's not the answer.
Yeah.
If it's your experience, it's your experience.
And then he died.
I'm not going to comment on that. that's the story, all right?
And shortly after that, he died. And I was like, I didn't lose too much sleep over that one. But yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is a scam. Because that whole thing, like, even if you're on that shit, like if you're prescribed Dexies, it's like they prescribe you Dexies, and then you're like, cool, can I just get the prescription?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we need to see you every 4 months. It's going to cost you $700 every time.
Very cool.
And it's literally just to come in and go, still have ADHD.
Yeah.
I believe they haven't found a cure.
Yeah, nothing has changed for me.
I think I'm going to need these. And they're like, oh, how are you feeling? It's like, you don't even know my name.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's one of those things where I had a conversation with Dad when I was like 15, 16. Oh, it might have been a bit after that. But it was on the lines of like, man, I'm fucking really struggling here. Being a teenager in hindsight was what was going on.
Yeah.
He's like, man, you just fucking go to the doctor and tell them that you're having a rough time, and they just give you pills and that'll sort it out. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. He's the generation that got taught that there's a pill for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, dick doesn't work, pill for it. Your heart doesn't work, pill for it. That's what they believed. I remember someone at the time told me that once you get an antidepressant, it's like a strike against your name. And if you want to do things in the future, they'll say, oh, he's unstable, we can't. And that sort of scared me off it. And I got a mentality then where I was like, oh, I'm not even going to take Panadol if I've got a headache, you know, because I don't want to be, you sort of like, again, it's that contrarian mentality.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, I'm now the guy who just doesn't get headaches. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, like that mentality sort of saved me, because I think I would have been looking for that help had I not had that experience that young. And like, I don't want to say I've struggled with addiction, but I've struggled with addiction for most of my 20s in one way or another. And like, now I'm in a place where, you know, like I'm sober, you know, completely haven't, like, when I say completely haven't smoked weed, like I've fucking smoked all day straight, That doesn't count, you know.
It's a day off.
It's one of those things now where like I understand addiction in such a way where it's like I'm not addicted to the substance per se as much as the habit. I'm addicted to, I had a win, I'll smoke a bong. I had a loss, I'll smoke a bong. I need to go to bed, I'll smoke a bong. I woke up in the middle of the night, I'll smoke a bong. You know, like everything is celebrated or, you know, what's the word? Recovered by this activity. And I think like the thing that scares me is that it would have been so quick to go, like, I'm not having a good month. I need a savior. And this is that. And then as we all know, especially if it, you know, you go down the opiate route, it's like, if that turns into your savior, you'll probably never get off them.
Yeah, there's things that can really get their fucking claws into you. I definitely, I'm fortunate. Like I've definitely fucking danced with the devil more than once, but addiction is a weird thing. I think it would be a horribly enlightening thing to experience, because you'd be like, oh shit, this is,
I mean,
like some people they tumble down the hill, you know?
Yeah.
And then you see them and then society discards of them and no one likes them. I don't like them. They're around here. And it's like, I feel bad for them, but it's like, dude, I don't know what the fucking answer is here.
I think like this is almost a spiritual sort of perception on things. I believe that like I am me spiritually, you know, here in this physical meat suit. And then I believe I can be affected by other spirits trying to take this from me, this meat suit. And it's my job in this life to defend this. And sometimes those spirits are like sugar and nicotine and bad relationships and suicidal thoughts and shitty business decisions. And the list goes on and on and on. And it's like my job to have my fucking guard up, to build my spirit strong. So strong, in fact, that like I believe even sleep paralysis is a spirit standing over you, dancing, going, ha, 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 try and breathe, bitch. And you can just get, you know. My most recent sleep paralysis experience, I looked it in the eye and said, that's all you got. That's all you got. I will wake up. Fuck you. And I woke up, you know. And
I've only had it once, man. It was fucking... Dude, I do not want to go down that route again.
It's fucking wild when you look back at it and you're like, you're not shit.
Dude, I don't even like talking about it because I have to sleep later. Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I live under the permanent threat of the fucking, of the sleep paralysis demon coming back.
Yeah. And this is the thing, I feel like, and I don't know if my spiritual perception on what's going on is an aid for me to live this experience regardless of what it actually is, but it definitely helps me like almost when these things come in and just being able to give it a name and say, oh, that's a spirit trying to fuck me up right now. And I can look it in the eye and say, I'm busy, right? That's a powerful thing. And whether you want to look at it as like there's a ghost trying to enter my life or there's this evil bitch who's trying to take my money coming into my life. So however you want to experience it is fine, but I feel like it's a really good thing to be able to acknowledge it in some sort of body so that you can reject it when you realize this is a trigger of a potential negative thing, like a suicidal thought. You know, because shit's going well for me right now. Shit's going really well for me. You don't think every now and then I'm like, just fuck it all up.
Yeah, there's always that.
Dude,
there's always
get a bag.
there.
Let's go. You know, you could do it. You got the money. Do it. You know?
I got it tattooed on my leg when I was younger. It says Daemon Genmon, which means beyond mountains, more mountains. And it's like, that's the only truth, is that you get over a peak and you're like, whew, fuck yeah, I did that.
Dude.
And then you go...
You look over, fuck.
You go, fucking Jesus.
There's more coming. And it's never going to end until it all gets taken away from me. You know, I had a really interesting situation the other day, which led to me doing a whole heap of writing. I needed to because I'm a creative writer all my life. I love writing. And the cool thing about writing, which I'm sure you know, is that it's almost like being on a podcast that lives on the internet forever. You got to be really sort of like thoughtful and specific about what you write because you're committing it to the page, right? And if you type it, it's not the same because you can press delete and you can copy and paste. It's bullshit compared to writing something down. And it's like a real expression, you know, like when I'm upset or angry, the writing's small. And when I'm like feeling myself, it's, you know, it's cursive, right? And I'm writing this thing the other day about when I first started writing, when I was in my early teen years, it was all romantic. I was always like, some of it was like, heartbreak and some of it was about how in love I was, and I don't write like that anymore at all. And I was like, I wonder why. I'll write about it. So I tried writing romantic. I'm like, nah, I need to practice this because this is bad. This doesn't translate as like something that would connect with. I don't know who it would connect with, if anyone. Maybe a stupid person who hasn't had real romance. Or maybe someone who's only had Disney romance would look at this and go, oh yeah, I kind of get it. And then I thought about, well, what was romance? And then I thought about, well, I don't really know what romance was, but I know what heartbreak was, because I seem to have had a lot of that in my late teenage years and in my 20s. And there was this correlation between how much jealousy I felt in my life and how much heartbreak followed that jealousy. And I thought, well, why was I getting jealous? It's because I had a different relationship with relationships. Someone who I was dating was my possession. It was, I get you because I impress you with all my things and my character, my existence. I get you. And then when you want to message someone else, or if you want to talk to someone else, even in a platonic level, you're not mine. And that hurts me. And I perceive that as heartbreak. And then when I decide, well, no, fuck you, why don't you just go, you know, we've all been that gross guy. We'll hopefully grow out of being that guy. You go, well, fucking off you go then, you know? And then you tell your friends, like, yeah, she fucking broke my heart. She wanted to talk to Matt down the street and, you know, fuck them. I bet you they're rooting right now. And all these things that you do when you're that age. And I know there was like this threshold in my life where I literally, like, jealousy just sort of didn't exist to me anymore. And you're like, well, what happened? So like I actually started perceiving, this is bizarre to say out loud, but I started perceiving females as other humans in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, I don't think people are like super comfortable saying it normally, but it really is a thing where, like, I do know dudes where I'm like, you didn't
grow out of it.
Yeah, you haven't grown out of it at all. And they're the ones that are like, she's just fucking like this and that. It's like, yeah, I remember it's a similar thing to like realizing that your parents are human beings as well.
Right.
There's like a maturity that happens in your mind and you're like, oh yeah, I've spoken to my girlfriend about this because she told me like that's their kind of lived experience.
Yeah.
Growing up is like, you're not getting that connection from someone because you're not like an actual person, you're a girl.
Yeah. Oh, I just full circled the whole fucking reason this happened. Yeah, it's crazy. Fuck it. I'll decide later if this is too heavy for the pod. So the rink is shutting down in Bunbury, which is kind of a big deal for me because I grew up there. And when I went there, the person running the session who, like, you know, skates around with you and sort of like someone falls down, they pick them up. It was this girl who I grew up with at the rink, and she was like my first girlfriend, and we did artistic couples together and like figure skating and that. So it's like we had like a bit of a history in that. And after the session was done, I was only going to stay for like an hour. I ended up staying like 3-4 hours because I wanted to be the last person off the floor on the last general session of the skate at the rink because it was like significant to me. And I ended up like rolling around for a bit afterwards, and I was talking to her about just, you know, skating and stuff that happened 15 years ago and these things. And I sort of like, it was a weird feeling when I left there because I was like, I felt like it was really nice to have that moment. And you're sort of having this thing of like, I've got a fiance, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, it's not even that there's a competition or that's what any of it's about. But I was really like, why was this moment so fucking nice? And what does that mean? And that's what started this heartbreak conversation, because it was around the same time that I was writing these really romantic heartbreak sort of stories, was about the time that I was going through all of my adolescent growing, learning character development at the rink. I was spending so much time there. And I realized I never got to have that conversation when I was 15 and in that relationship with her. I never just got to skate around the rink and talk like two people that are just two people.
Yeah, because there's nothing else there. It was just two people.
Yeah, and it was like this like gap that I didn't realize I had was filled. And it's like, oh, I didn't even realize I needed that. But now that I've had it, I'm like, I can sort of like have a sigh of relief.
Yeah, you feel it release.
Yeah, and that was, that I literally just realized that was the last bit of that whole thought, because I thought it was all about like, well, what is the perception of heartbreak? It's not. It's what is the perception of heartbreak based off my perception of what a relationship is. And a relationship now to a relationship then is night and day.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem is that like you don't get to like reconcile most of those things. They're just things that happen, and then you just move on with your life. And
in
like,
my mind, I was never going to see her again.
And you just bump into people, and you're like, you can still have like a surface conversation and stuff like that, but you don't get a chance to actually be like, have a genuine conversation with someone.
Yeah. I think the thing that got me the most is like, I didn't realize until after the fact that one of the things I really wanted when I was that age was I just wanted to be able to connect, but I don't think I had the capacity to do it because, I mean, you and I both know you don't really become a human as a guy until you're about 30.
Yeah.
It's when you're about that age where things start to like slow down. You're like, oh my God, I don't have to fuck everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like sort of just, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
I think there's so much like, there's so much rejection, like I think rejection is just like such a visceral negative thing when you're a kid. Like it's like getting, like, you ever meet someone that never got punched in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like their fear of, or their complete illegitimacy to the understanding of that is hilarious, because they either think that they're like be the toughest people in the world, or they think that it would be like Earthshat, they would be like the one punch guy that just dies.
Yeah.
And fortunately, if it happens to you when you're like 13 or 14 and you realize there's like an airbag that goes off and you don't really feel anything, and like, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not made of glass. And that's okay. Like, I didn't like the experience, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that there's like that fear of getting punched in the face is so much worse than getting punched in the face. And I think the fear of rejection is so overwhelming that we claw as much as humanly possible to not experience it. Yeah. Even down to the point where when you're with someone and you're dating someone when you're younger, if they give any inclination that they're not as interested in you by like texting someone else or something, rather than being like, no, I fucking like, I want you, you go, fuck you, you're out, I'm too proud, this and that. But all you're really doing is protecting yourself and discarding that person as like a preemptive strike against something that you think is going to happen to you.
Dude, the fucking weird thing is as well, you now know if you had just said, hey, like, I'm hurt because I really like you, that would have only built it stronger.
Yeah. Or they could have been like, look, I appreciate that. This isn't for me. Yeah. I'm sorry. And you could have fucking swallowed it, but at least you'd know, But I think that the number of times that I did that sort of thing, like where I thought I was like protecting myself when I was younger, I think everyone does. And I'm not really like a fucking bad guy. I think that I've had such good conversations with like long-term exes that I had in the last like 5 years, where I've like had some sort of reconciliation with them, and it's just so nice to know them as a fucking person, and there's nothing else there. It's just like, I had such a fucking long period of time with you, and then it ended and it was really painful, so we just kind of cut it off and never do it. It's like there does need to be that. I think it takes a year, to be honest. Like I talk with, there's so many people working here and they're all a bit younger than me, and they go through various breakups and stuff, and they're like, oh, we're still hanging. I was like, dude, I genuinely am, my thing on it from lived experience is like no contact for a year.
Yeah, minimum.
And then you can, have a conversation.
No, then you can bump into each other at Woolies. You can't have a coffee. You can't come round. None of that. You can bump into each other at Woolies and you be in a rush. Because if it was going to work, it would have fucking worked already.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to go back and try and make it work, but you can just go, oh, like, I don't think that, because I think a big thing when you do go through a big breakup is like, you live, because it all ends and there's so much pain and hurt there, you just go, that's what they think of me forever. And that's what, but you don't think that of them forever. And then you see them and you go, oh, look, are you okay? Like, are you good? And they're like, yeah, like that was pretty crazy, but we're good. And there's still like all this remnants of just like a fucking friendship. And you don't need to it doesn't need to be like a close friendship or anything, but it's just like, it's that same thing of just letting go and just going, oh, I'm glad you're good. I'm good. Like,
yeah,
because I feel like a lot of those things end in like such tension.
I believe that the catalyst of a lot of relationships is so adulterated by Disney that you meet someone in an unsuspecting place and you fall in love, and it's love at first sight, and it's romance, and it's fireworks, and then you go through a tough time, but you get married and you have kids and you live in a castle and Porsches. I don't think it's a Disney thing. That's a me thing. But that's all bullshit. And when you try and replicate that in real life and you try and go like, oh, as soon as I saw her, I knew, it's like fucking nobody has that. They make that up after the fact. And I think
I used to have an issue with that when I go to weddings, where people would be like, the moment I saw him, I just knew. And I'd be like, but I fucking know you. That's bull. Yeah. That's a lie.
Yeah. And also, if you just really take your shit seriously, which is a bit of a common theme for all the shit that I do, is like I do everything as if my life depends on it. Everything, because it does, right? So like if you're getting married, write some vows that are meaningful. Take some time. Think about it. Don't just say the shit that sounds good. Make shit that's so personal it can be funny. It'll be better than saying shit that everyone goes, yeah, cool, I'm going to hit the males. You know what I mean? I think the problem with that Disney fallacy is that people don't pressure test the idea of it. They think the failure comes from the other person. And like the strength that I have with Riz is the origin story of us was like, we matched on Tinder. It was going to be like, hey, this is casual. And it was casual. And got to the point where it's like, I mean, when we got engaged, we hadn't had the chat yet.
Right? Are we dating chat?
We just got to a point where it's like, oh, you're getting a new rental. I should probably chip in some money because I'm like always there and like showering and all that. And now your roommate's moved out. I may as well move the other half of my shit in, and then we may as well get a rental together that's a bit more cool. All right.
It's a shitty Disney movie. It would have bombed.
Yeah. It was horrible. You know what I mean? But then when I go back and look at everything, you look at the trajectory, and also with the case studies of like, well, why didn't this friend's relationship work? And why is this one sort of on the rocks? And why is this one doing well? And why does ours have this thing? It's because from the sort of point where we like organically felt like, oh, I like hanging out with this person. The agreement always was, we'll keep hanging out until one day one of us wakes up and says, I don't want to hang out with this person anymore. That was the one thing that we did talk about. And every other conversation was like, how do you feel about this? What do you think about this? This happened to me when I was a kid. I'm thinking about doing this. I want to achieve this before I die. And it's like literally just been the coolest ongoing conversation that I have that is now so in the trenches and deep and technical that I can bring up the smallest part of information that I can expand into an entire day's worth of conversation. And it's fucking contextual to us.
Yeah.
That's fucking romance.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty on the front. It's pretty at the end of the day when you go to bed feeling like you belong to something, But
I think that's what everyone's looking for. And the thing is that they think the path to that is, I don't think so much anymore with the Disney stuff, but I get what you're saying, like the programming of that sort of thing. I think that the idea is that you trip up and you fucking fall over and you go through a bunch of shit and then you find your person. That's the general idea.
Yeah.
But everyone wants the shortcut where it's like, I met the prince.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I don't know what it is now. I don't know what it will be now. I don't know what the overwhelming, like, it was pretty easy when we were growing up because things were like programmed pretty straightforward, like television programs and like, this is what life is and this is how it works. And this is crazy and this is fantasy and this is fiction and this is nonfiction. But now it's just like an amalgamation of everything. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what's real in that sense. Like it just feels like I look at what it appears like everyone is looking at, the stuff that just, the stuff that seems to get into everyone's algorithm. Like those weird talk shows where there's like 3 like conservative dudes just dunking on like 4 OnlyFans models. Yeah. And you're like, how many times is this going to happen?
Yeah.
And like, then you realize that they're both getting exactly what they need out of this thing. It's like the OnlyFans chicks are getting more followers, and the dudes are getting more status as being like the manosphere. I think men need a fucking rebrand. Like, we need some people. We used to have like cool athletes and like ambiguous Hollywood stars, which we didn't know that much about, and then we started getting too much information, and we found out fucking Ben Cousins was on meth. Like, you know, like there was these things that was like, just be like him and you'll be good. And then, but now we know that everyone's so full of fault.
Yeah.
And like the only people that are like really standing up and being like, and as like representatives of like role models for men are awful. It's like Andrew Tate and fucking those dudes, the dunk on people dudes, and like all that sort of stuff where it's like, it's extreme and you're like, this isn't good for us at all.
I think to dial back, kids aren't having sex anymore. Like,
I don't know what kids are doing. I bet they fucking are. I bet they're doing fine.
No, I think there's a split. I think there's a lot of young people not having sex. Kids not having sex sounds like a bad line to say. I think a lot of young adults aren't having sex, and I think on the other side of that is there's a lot of young adults that are having polyamorous relationships where it's...
Dude, I reckon this is a psyop. So this is my theory on this is... Because I watched that shit, like that Netflix show with the kid that just stabbed the girl for no apparent reason, and the family's, it's just pain. It's just like, hey, here's 4 hours of extreme pain in real time.
Yeah. And
they're like, this is what it's like, and that's what it's like. And then they start bringing out statistics. They're like, 80% of women go for 20% of dudes, and this and that. It's like, who are you polling?
Yeah.
Who's answering these fucking questions?
Yeah.
This is just bullshit that comes out. Like, kids are in school. They might be a little bit more into computer games and stuff like that. They're still going to be fucking horny as shit.
Yeah.
There's still going to be the same, there's still going to be the same experience. You're still putting kids in here. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's a bunch of weird negative shit that comes through. I think people do need to be parented. Like, you need someone there to be like, yo, this is what life's about, and this is good and this is bad. Yeah. Like, no one's brought up on the iPhone. Like, they still have parents, and if the parents aren't checking in with their kids and like helping them through things, like I had questions for my parents when I remember asking my dad when I was like 12. I'd had something happen where like I'd lost a friend or something. Like someone didn't want to be my friend anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember asking my dad, I was like, is it important to be popular?
Interesting. Straight to the point.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I was just a barely formed kid.
Yeah. And
I was probably dealing with some form of like social rejection for the first time. And he sat me down and he like explained it to me. He's like, like having meaningful relationships with friends and is good, but don't sell yourself short or pretend to be something you're not in order to have friends, because that's a lie and it's not going to work. So that was like something that those conversations, they just kind of re-guide you, and everyone's like, yeah, but they're getting bombarded with this and that. It's like, well, tell them it's not fucking real.
Yeah, I think there's a big thing there. Like, I'm having a lot of conversations at the moment, and especially on the pod with all my guests, about the experience and the experience of being a parent, because like one thing's for sure, like if you're going to bring a kid into this world, like, sure, we got to think about what that first like week, 3 months, first year, all the rest. Like, dude, I'm thinking about what, like when my 12-year-old kid comes and says, how important is it to be popular? One thing's for sure. I need runs on the board now to understand enough about this life that when that question gets asked, I can give him a fucking answer.
You can give him an answer right now. You could definitely give him an answer right now.
For sure. The second thing is I need to be answering it in a home where she exists as well.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that our shit is so on lock that no matter what happens, it's us versus everyone else, not me versus her with a kid.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of problems coming from. The kid doesn't get a chance to ask a question because they're sharing fucking addresses with mum and dad. Yeah. And then you get an answer from him, you get an answer from her, they're contradicting, and now it's like I have to come up with the answer because these two can't give me a consistent. Like the one thing is, it's like it's got to be mum and dad are on a team,
Yeah, I think it's important, but it's also Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be negative on it, but like it's tough. I've got like a lot of friends that fucking got divorced and shit.
Oh, dude, I'm not saying that
It's like that's no. I'm not in relation to your situation at all. But I think it's like you do need to have like crafters co-parents, and they're great parents.
Yeah.
Like it's about being adaptable. I think. I mean, I don't know shit, dude. I don't have fucking kids, but it's about. I think that there is like. You can't just point at things and go, the world is like this and it's all fucked. Because you go, well, there's kids being born and they're being born into this. You need to like, maybe you need to like really fucking go out of your way to, I don't think you can shield people from things, but you can be a bit of a filter and say, see this here, this isn't good. This here, this is good. But I don't know what hope people have because even in here and people I know like like culture and memes have just become so absurd to the point that something bad will happen and there will already be jokes about it before
you get the news
anyone's and you're just like, so you're learning about things as a joke and it makes everything not serious in some way. And it's like that's probably not a good thing. Like we should still like feel bad that bad things are happening, even if just for a moment, and then going, okay, well, I got to get on with my day.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't automatically be like when the Iran stuff happened last week, like people are like, oh, what are you going to do in World War III sort of thing? Like,
yeah,
like lol. It's like, yeah, it's probably pretty serious what's going on right now. Like it might be okay to just like digest that there's pretty unsettling things going on in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like ponder on that and then forge a worldview from that.
I think like it's really, I'm trying to think of a good metaphor to outline what I'm going to say. Maybe I'll just say it. With the situation that I'm in, I'm trying to make sure that by the time the baby comes along that we don't need to worry about daycare. I built a business inside my house for a reason. We haven't got commercial property for a reason. I built systems around optimizing what we have access to in the space that we have with the product that we sell for a very specific reason. It's because I want her to be a mum. You know, I don't want, oh, yeah, we got to make ends meet, daycare costs this, I got to go back to work, rah, rah. You didn't take life seriously. You know, oh, but this happened. Hey, if I was using this happened excuses, I'd still be driving trucks. That's how simple it is. And yes, you might have to make a decision now that will take 20 years to pay off and you have to get good at delayed gratification. It's your responsibility as a human doing something. Mm-hmm. And if being a parent is important enough to you, which most parents will go, of course, whatever comes after what you just said, of course, because I love my children, I'll do anything for them. Do anything for them then. You know, and if it means figuring your shit out, and as I'm not attacking the people that you're referencing before who aren't in a connected relationship, but it's like if it means figuring it out, figure it out. And if it means right now, if you haven't had kids and you're having that thought, it's like, will you go to the fucking ends of hell with that woman? Because if you will,
you don't know. You don't know until you're on the way.
Yeah, dude, for sure. But I feel like, I mean, I have plenty of friends that are just like, they have a kid because I forgot to pull out.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Right? And it's like, man, no disrespect to them. I mean, you made your bed. You made your bed. But also, like, right now, I'm in the grind phase. Everyone's being my friend. Everyone's like, yeah, we want Jake Black Ink. We want it. You know, I feel it in Bunbury. People are on my side. But let's say this all works. Let's say I'm right and the money does come. And all of a sudden, it's exponential. The things that you see that reflect the icons we were talking about before, that reflect all this effort that I put in over this time. Do I become the enemy because I thought about what I was doing? Did I become the enemy because I planned something and it came to fruition? You know, at the same time, if this shit all falls apart, don't think that I'm going to come to you and say, oh, look, poor me, help me, now I need your help. It's like, no, I got to keep not failing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's a decent mentality.
Dude, I think all I'm trying to do is just create something that from every angle is as bulletproof as possible. Nothing is completely bulletproof. But if you have the mentality of like, all right, I realize that I can fail. Let's not waste too much time thinking about all the potential ways. Let's just think of the ways that could go wrong immediately. If I don't have her, I'm nothing. If I don't have a way to make bread, I'm nothing. If I don't have a roof over my head, I'm nothing. Well, let's take those things really seriously. Again, this dude comes in from the side and says, oh, you said this on the podcast, rah, rah. Bro, fuck you. I don't know who you are. So it's like I don't have to worry about that. So already we're starting to get a worry about, don't worry about pole. And the shit that we worry about, we double down on it. And it means having uncomfortable conversations day after day after day with the person that I love to make sure that we have these no loose ends up in the air, I'll have them. And if it means going to extreme means to help correct things in their life or in their environment that I know would make them feel better or have a better result, I'll do that, and I'll do it not expecting anything in return. And it's fucking scary. It's scary when
it's definitely the right mentality to be going into it with.
And dude, I might be wrong. I print t-shirts for a living. Who the fuck am I? You know?
Dude, we're probably all wrong. It doesn't.
And that's the best part, because if you fail, you're like, dude, I didn't say I knew what I was doing. I just thought about it as the best I could.
Yeah. And plus, like, failing is just like, it's a fucking option. You just pick it up, you change tact. It's like,
fuck, that's perfectly worded. Failing is an option.
Like, you can make it not an option and you can fight against it all you want. You can't prepare for it, but you just go in with your best foot forward. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're trying to build like the life that you want.
Well, you touched on it before when you said, I can't do that because I'm not an electronic music producer. And then you're like, hang on, what else am I not?
Yeah.
No, it's not the fucking dude. Fuck you. Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah, exactly.
And then then you start having to win there, and you start looking around like, what do I want to be? Perfect case scenario, what do I want to be? And that's all I've done. It's like, well, I want a happy, healthy family that learns and grows and expands and do all the thing. And it's like, well, what's the first step of that? Well, it's not living in a fucking caravan, son.
Do you still have the caravan?
Fuck no, dude. I bought that thing for $3,000, sold it in the middle of COVID for 12.5.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's a come up.
Use that money to buy a screen printer, and the rest is bloody history from there.
That's fucking brilliant, dude.
Actually, I think since I've spoken to you, we bought bro, here's a yarn. I bought so I was spending $350 a week on outsourcing our prints because we do DTF, direct to film. And I was like, all right, $350 a week. And like, this is pure make $100, spend 99 on the business, not taking a wage status, right? I'm like, we're spending $350 a week on these prints. How many times do I have to do that before I would have owned the printer that prints them, right? So I figured it out. I'm like, these printers are worth 40 grand plus GST delivery. I was like, sweet. It's like 5 years, 2 years, whatever it was. I was like, either way, I'm playing a 100-year game, so it could be 15 years. As long as I end up owning the machine, it's all good, right? Because also as you scale, you then have the capacity to print more and it will cost less.
Yeah.
So I started going down that route. Long story short, I pulled the trigger on that printer, realized that we can't put it in this rental where the fucking roof leaks and it's not ours and instability, which leads to the fucking house thing. We then
you buy a house?
Yeah. The printer arrives. It's been smashed up in transit. Like, fucked. And I like literally opened the curtain on the truck, and I used to be a courier driver, so I know how this shit works. I'm like, don't even unload it, champ. Just take it back. We don't want it. You fucked it. And he had actually, the last leg of the journey, it had failed because there were these, it said on the thing, big cables, like as tall as you, rolls of cable, and they're 2 ton each. And he had put them in there and not strapped them down. So they were just rolling in the fucking thing, smashing a printer, which is like super fragile. I'm like, brother, take it back. So I call up the supplier and I'm like, hey, we've just had, they also sell the printer, the people who do the prints. I'm like, hey, we've just had this printer arrive. It's fucked. I've sent it back. Send your photos, send your videos, blah, blah, blah. She goes, fuck, we'll sort something out for you. And of course, you're already paying for the loan. You're also paying for the outsourcing of the print still. You know that there's this massive learning curve of learning how to operate this printer coming up. You've got to do an install, which requires 2 professionals, one from the business you bought it from, one from the Mamaki shits. And I'm like, just sort of like, not great optics at the moment. I get a call like 2 weeks later, like, hey, we found a replacement printer. It's already on the way. No, it's not already on the way. There is one slight hiccup though. It's a dual head instead of a single print head. I'm like, what does that mean? She goes, well, instead of being able to do like 2.5 meters an hour, you can do 11 meters an hour. I'm like, and the consumables, is it going to go through more? Like, what's the go? She's like, basically, we can't give you the machine that you bought because that was the last one, but we can give you like the fucking duck's nuts. And it would be, for no extra cost. I'm like, fucking sick. Sign me up. So I end up getting like a Markey TX F300, which is just this top of the line commercial level DTF printer that is just so incredibly overkill for what we're doing.
That's sick. So you don't need to scale it up.
Dude, fast forward, we made that decision at the end of financial year last year. So we're a year past the decision of deciding to buy the printer. It got installed in September last year, around the same time I had the reversal. And we're now printing like between 2 and 15 meters a day on this printer. So, shit. And like we're just getting warmed up. It's like everything like I said before, it was like miracle to get to the point we're at. We now have a printer that like if we had to just maintain what we're doing forever, this machine is just way too fucking big to do it. But I'm now finding that it's like, oh, we could fully have this thing running for like half the day, every day with a 3-man operation. And if like there's a pie in the sky, like I've done the maths, it is possible. You don't know if it's really possible till you're doing it, but I believe we have the capacity to do between 1.5 and 2 million a year turnover from home.
Just from that machine?
Just from that machine.
That's fucking wild.
Bizarre.
That's sick.
Like going from fucking in a caravan, outsourcing the prints of shirts, buying them for 50, selling them for 60, to like, I'm not going to disclose how much we can make a shirt for now, front and back and whatever you want print, but it's not 50.
That's fucking sick.
It's crazy.
That's a good investment.
And now like we're finding the real money is in uniforms where, you come to me, you've got a work crew of 12 blokes. They all need 5 shirts, 3 pairs of pants. And it's not a front and back print. It's a logo and a name. So where to do a shirt, you might need, if you did, I should know this off the top of my head, you might need that much film to do a big back and a small front. In that much space, man, we can do fucking like a $5,000 job.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Gang printing.
So we're in a very fucking cool position right now.
That's sick, dude. Congrats.
But
Sounds
also,
fucking awesome.
More money, more money, more problems.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said, delayed gratification.
Oh yeah. Also, that's a whole thing. It's like I really don't worry about how much money it can possibly make. It's like just every intricate problem as it happens now, just solve that to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've laid the foundation. How long is it going to take to pay off the machine?
It's half paid off.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And also, like, I'm the sort of person where, like, we're now both fully employed, like, taking a wage, saving, doing everything right, but at the same time, just, like, lump off.
Off the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
But, yeah, it's like, I feel like I'm fucking bragging now. It's not the point of this.
That fucking rules, dude.
You're fully just excited, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's actually funny because like one of my big goals when I started all this and I started the podcast was like I just want to be big enough to get Bradshaw on the pod. That's all I really fucking wanted, And it's like now I'm in this position where
you just set your expectations higher, bro.
Well, it'd still be fucking cool, but I don't know what I would get out of that conversation anymore. I'd love to have that conversation, but it's like I even thought like, oh man, I'm a little bit early. I could send him a message and fucking hen's teeth chance that I could catch him at his bloody warehouse and I'll set up and do this and do that. It's like, what the fuck are you going to talk about?
Just talk about whatever. It's
just
the same.
Talk about whatever.
It's a podcast. It's the same shit as always.
Yeah. But no, it's fucking cool. I'm excited.
Hell yeah, man. That fucking rules.
Thanks, man.
That fucking rules. I'm so stoked for you, man. It's really good to see you. I haven't fucking seen you in months.
Yeah. Oh, longer than months. It's been...
I'm trying to think when I last saw you.
Oh, no, I popped up and visited you a while ago.
Yeah. I think it was a few months back.
Are you going to go to Mark Norman?
Yes. I bought tickets the other night.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going with my girl.
Might have to do that, hey?
Yeah, come through.
Yeah, because you get the $99 ticket?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's $49.
No, I got the 5. I went chat cheaped out, bro.
We went $49.
Yeah, it's comedy. I don't want to. We went to that one. I did not want to be that close.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
That was hilarious.
I was fucking so stoned.
Move with me. And we're like shuffling
Yeah,
around
yeah, because they had me. You did as well.
Yeah.
What was that show?
D'Elia.
Yeah, I don't like. He was good. I'm not a big Chris D'Elia fan, but
He was really
someone gave me a ticket, and it was like, yeah, our seats were on the like I was on the stage, and I was like, I can't do this. Someone else needs to sit here, and you switch with me.
Yeah, I was like, please ask me something.
Yeah, I was like, if he picks on me, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
There's an awesome dude coming Saturday week.
Oh, yeah?
He's called Sam Talent. And he's fucking hilarious.
Is it Sam Talent a musician?
No, Sam Talent from he's watch his special. His special's on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious. And he's playing here. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Like did you see Ari Shafir when he was here?
Yeah, I saw him at the Charles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, was that the show?
I didn't fucking I wanted to go.
I went. Dude, that show was like 4 days after my dad died.
Oh really?
Yeah, for real. And I was like that was the show that I went to. And I was just like zombie mode. But I did actually have a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out and smoked weed in the car park afterwards.
Dude, he was like, that was still at his stage of his career where he's like, oh, if there's cool things to do in Perth, want to go hiking, send me a message. I'm like, I have no Perth knowledge. This is on a message and be like, very cool. I live near Perth. That's all I have.
Nah, he was brilliant, man. And then, yeah, I'm really into this James Donald Forbes McCann. He's fucking hilarious. He's from Adelaide.
Oh, okay.
But he's over in the States now doing stuff.
Do you follow Kill Tony?
A little bit. Like I think it's a bit on the nose. Like I like what it is, but it's like it's a bit like gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of that. But I guess people are fucking signing up for it. Some of them are quite funny, but I find it pretty hard to get through.
I think sometimes their guests ruin it for me. Like the actual comedians on there. It's like, dude, it's not about you. It's about the fucking people who signed up.
Yeah, but the thing is like, it seems like mean. Like I get it. Like I get that it's like a bit of a trial by fire and stuff, but it does seem like the business model is just them. It's kind of like the Manosphere guys and the Instagram girls.
True. Yeah, but I don't know. You cut.
They do celebrate. They do celebrate the ones that are good.
Yeah, I just know that like with like our Saturday morning we all run at 5:30, swim in the ocean at 6, go to the cafe 6:30, and it's like constantly like comically pulling the piss out of each other. And I don't know, you feel the difference between that and being rude to a stranger on stage. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, like that might scar them, like.
Yeah, it's just a bit hard to watch sometimes. The what was I going to say about Kill Tony? When someone like fucking smashes it though, it's pretty cool.
Do you like that? What's his name? He's like all over the place. He like fucking takes stuff.
Casey Rocket.
Casey Rocket.
Man, I don't mind it. It reminds me of. Have you ever seen any of Robin Williams stand up?
No.
It's fucking nuts.
Dude.
It's very similar.
Like early.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's fucking 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's weird, but it's entertaining.
I think that's what is funny about it is you don't know what's coming next. And then you expect to not know what's coming next, and he still gets you. Like, this motherfucker is like 40 steps ahead of me right now.
Yeah, it's just like, it's absurd, but it's funny. I saw, actually, there was one dude that I tried to get on the pod, but I think he was a little bit too big, but his name's Amos Gill. He's like an Australian comic from Sydney that's based over in the States.
Yeah.
And I saw him at Fringe, and he was absolutely fucking hilarious. Like, because there's something like American comedy is fine and it's good and it translates, but like this was the first time I'd seen like an Aussie comic just completely
ripping.
Yeah, and it just made so much sense to like me, and
Yeah.
And he was like, if you get a chance, go see him. He'll be back soon.
Yeah, between Segura and D'Elia, like completely made me hate any sort of jokes that they make that's location based.
Mm-hmm.
Just do your set, dude.
Yeah. It's so it's like pandering.
Yeah. Like, yeah, fucking. I mean, D'Elia did the bit about Kiwis. It was all right. You know what I mean? It was an unpolished observational.
It's for the retards though. Like Schultz did the same thing. He's like, yeah, no, all of that stuff ends up in Rockingham or something, and everyone's like, whoa, he knows where Rockingham is. You're like, that's obviously, I mean, it's whatever.
It's the equivalent of the dude who says twist his dick off at the UFC.
Oh man, and that is constant. Have you been to the UFC?
Yeah.
That is every 40 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Remember, I went to the.
I met you the night before.
Yeah. Oh, that was the first time I met you. That was the first time
we've met.
Yeah.
Me and Josh went to Sydney and saw Sean Strickland beat
Duplessis.
Nah, Israel Adesanya.
Oh yeah, what a fight.
Yeah. I don't think I'll go to the UFC again.
Yeah, well, that was the one thing because I think it was just
fucking hardcore bogan. Like,
also,
like it's people just going, woo, like it was just like annoying people.
Yeah,
and the fights, we were pretty far back, but the fights were okay.
Yeah.
But most of it's just like the crowd just like going, fucking hit him. Just fucking. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I'd rather watch this on TV.
And that's a big thing. Like you think, dude, it was crazy. We got, I said to my mate's mum, like, oh, you know what? Because I think she was going to get us tickets to something. I was like, if you want to get us tickets to anything for his birthday, get us UFC tickets. She's like, oh, yeah, all right. And she goes, oh, I bought the tickets. You can pay me back. I'm like, oh, cool. How much were they? She's like, oh, they're like $600 each. I'm like, fucking, are we sitting in the ring, in the octagon? She's like, no, like I'm pretty sure they're good tickets, but, and it's like standard, like nothing wrong with his mum. She's cool, but just standard, like bought them from a reseller, you know, like just the first thing that came up on Google, and our backs were against the wall. We were so far away. Our backs were against the wall.
Can't get any higher.
$600 a seat.
That's not a reseller price. That's the price.
Bro, I literally
Dude, that's the thing that shits me about Dana White. Is like every single fucking time he comes out at the press conference and he goes, we broke the gate record today for this thing, or the biggest fucking thing in Australian history. And everyone goes, oh, wow, what a G. It's like, yes, because you charge $600 a ticket and then we pay it.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Like that's an insane amount of money. Like you're breaking the record on every arena because nothing that's ever been at that arena has ever cost $600 minimum.
Yeah.
Ever. So you're going to break the arena record at every single thing you go to.
Yeah, and to think that like, well, like what are the ring size? What's the shit up the front? What's that worth?
Well,
like, you're talking tens of thousands, right?
Yeah. You got to be on fucking Epstein's list to get on there.
Yeah, one day. You know, I'm pretty sure the Paul brothers were at the Perth UFC I was at because they were doing a Prime promo.
Yeah, fuck those guys. I don't know. It's like they...
Dude, do you want to know a crazy connection? This is not that I can't stand the Paul brothers like the best of us, but in the speed skating world, because like being a speed skater in Holland is like being an AFL player in Australia, right? You walk down. I used to train with the national Dutch team, just because their coach was an Australian, and she would also coach the Australian Dutch team, the Australians that skated in Holland, because we were based out of like the fucking mecca of. We were in a town called Heerenveen, and that was like the place to skate in Holland. The dudes that we would train with that were like in the same facility when we were there were fucking celebrities. One of them, his name was Koen, like Koen, and he was like sponsored by Prada, Harley Davidson, like big sponsors for being a skater. And his missus so after I left, he got this missus. She was like junior world champion, moving into senior. Oh, she might have had one more year in because junior's up to like 18, 19. No, so she was junior world champion, then went to senior. And they were like this celebrity skating couple, you know, because they were both world champions. They're both extremely attractive, like both Yoda and Kuhn are just like immaculate specimens. Anyway, they had I remember I was still talking to him all the time, and I was like, oh man, I'll send you some Black Ink stuff. It was when I first got started. And obviously this is like years later, like still talking to him, because I left when I was 18, started this when I was 27. So you sort of do the maths there. I sent him and Yoda, his missus, this care package, and it had like Black Ink mini top and shirts and all the rest, and a tub of Vegemite and a nice note and all that. And he's like messaging me like, where is it, man? Where is it, man? I'm like, oh, I fucking sent it. Like, I don't know. And this is back when I couldn't afford anything, you know. And it's like, this was like probably $200 worth of stuff plus 150 to post it.
Shipping, yeah.
So they end up breaking up, and then months later I get this thing back in the mail because it must have sat in a post office and no one collected or fucking whatever. She is now engaged to Jake Paul. Bro. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's crazy.
You can be as famous as you want in your country. If your ex-missus starts dating Jake Paul, it doesn't matter.
Nah,
fuck.
You just be like, fuck.
You know? It's like the conversations I've had in my mind were like, you're telling me that I was like 2 degrees of separation away from Jake Paul, have even maybe heard of Black Ink before. The reason that his missus knows about Vegemite is because of me, you know? Oh,
You
dude.
planted that seed.
Man. Anyway, I got to fucking go to bed, dude.
Yeah, let's wrap. How long we go?
Went for fucking ages.